his friend's roommate, 20-year-old student Julia Koenigsknecht, for damaging his car. Julia says she didn't do it.
Order, all rise. Yes, case number 161 on the calendar in the matter of Brody versus Koenigsknecht. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. Brody, you went over to a friend's house to visit. You pulled your car into your friend's driveway, right?
That's correct.
The defendant also lives in the house. She arrived sometime later. It is your claim that she pulled her car right up to the bumper of your car, gave it a little bit of a nudge. Nudge? Nudge? No. Nudge. Thank you. Nudge is what I am.
No.
Nudge is what you are. Nudge, nudge. And she damaged the back end of your car.
Yeah, the rear bumper.
The rear bumper of your car. You wanted to pay the damage. When did this happen?
It was June 2nd.
What time did you arrive at your friend's house?
About 6 or 7 p.m. after dinner. We'd gone out to pick up dinner.
And was yours the only car parked in the driveway?
When I parked the car, yes, it was.
When did you see any damage to the car?
We came outside about 11 o'clock. What happened is that she had come home while we were inside, obviously. And we went outside, the witness and I, and one of the roommates who had her keys. At this house, the parking is a very difficult situation. So all of the roommates leave their keys downstairs and everyone has permission to move each other's cars. So we went outside and...
Because you wanted to leave?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So when we got outside, I saw that the cars were parked in very close proximity. Her front bumper was touching my rear bumper and it was dark out. So I had him move her car back and shine her headlights on my rear bumper. And as he backed up, I saw scratches and chips on my bumper that hadn't been there before line up with her metal license plate as he backed off.
What kind of car did you have?
I drive a Volvo S70.
And what kind of car does she drive?
A Ford Explorer.
Big car.
Big car.
Did you speak to her about it?
Yes. We went inside and one of the roommates got her from upstairs. She came downstairs and I asked her if she knew if she may have touched my car. And she said indeed she had. She had tried to move it forward a couple feet.
Ludicrous.
I don't want to hear you yet.
I'm sorry.
She tried to move it forward a couple feet because she was sick of getting tickets for having her car hanging over the edge of the driveway because it's the city's property and you can get tickets for that. And she also said that she thought that people did that all the time and she thought she could move it because her car was an SUV and mine wasn't. So she didn't think it would be a problem. And I told her that there was damage on my car that hadn't been there before and I expected her to pay for it. She said that was okay. She apologized. She asked me if I knew how much it was going to be. I told her that I didn't, but I thought it would probably be a couple $100s. I offered to let her go outside and look at the damage. She declined to do that. I told her that I'd call her with an estimate. She said that was fine, gave me her phone number, and I left.
And did you call her with an estimate?
I called her 11 days later with an estimate for $307, which I have right here.
Why didn't you go outside and look at the car?
First of all, he had never
No,
asked...
just a second. I asked you a question. My question to you is, why didn't you go outside to look at the car?
Well, there's a problem with that statement, and that is that he never asked me to go out and look at the car.
Did he tell you that he believed that your car had caused damage to his?
No, all that he said was that, you know, I noticed the cars were very close. If there should be a problem, can I give you a call? And I said, absolutely. Here's my phone number. I knew that there wasn't any damage done because I knew I hadn't hit his car. I expected to hear from him if there was a problem. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 5 days later, no call. I assumed there was nothing wrong and that I was indeed correct, that I hadn't damaged his car. All of a sudden,
that doesn't
2
answer
weeks
my
later,
question. Clearly, when he came inside and spoke to you, you had some indication that he believed that there might be some damage to the car. Clearly, because you just told me you waited 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. So an intelligent person would say, well, let's go outside with some flashlights and take a look at it right now and see if, in fact, there was any damage. So I'm going to repeat my question. Why didn't you, at that point, go outside and take a look at the car?
Because he didn't say there was any risk of damage, and so I didn't think
So
there
you
was
just
anything
gave
to
me your
look
phone number because you thought he wanted your phone number?
Well, you know, he is kind of cute. You never know. Maybe we can go on a date. I'm kidding. Anyway.
I'm not. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $307. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, I'd just like to give a shout out to my E-Town girls, all my UMich girls, 6 Bart, and K-13 family. Mwah.
Well, I think Judge Judy's big line is beauty fades, but dumb is forever. And as soon as her beauty fades, I think she'll just be dumb forever.
And now the next case.
All parties on Hugin Merrill versus Leyugan. Step forward.
46-year-old nurse Michelle Morell and her daughter, 16-year-old Jessica Hugin, are suing Jessica's former friend, 18-year-old student Ann Leyugan, for keying her car at school.
What is your name?
Michelle Merle.
How are you related to her?
I'm her mother.
And this was your car that was involved?
It's her car, but I'm the registered owner of it, but it's her car.
That's why you're here?
Yes.
Okay, but you had nothing to do with this case. You didn't see anything. You weren't there?
No.
Good. Have a seat. Okay. According to your complaint, the defendant used to be a friend of yours. She's no longer a friend of yours. You started dating a boy that used to be her boyfriend.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And according to you, that's when the trouble started between the two of you, and the defendant keyed your car. And this was at the school parking lot.
Yes.
So tell me what happened on that day.
I went to the school to pick up a friend, and she had decided to go with someone else, and so I was getting ready to leave, and I saw Ann's car at the end of the parking lot, and I did not want another incident like the first one that had happened, and so I turned around and went back to the school, and I got out of my car, and I saw Ann following me into the school, and so I just kept walking, and she's behind me saying that I'm going to knock your teeth out, and so I just kept walking into the school, and I went into the office, and I saw Ann and her sister walk by the office, look at me, and then they turned back around and went outside of the school. I was on the phone with my mom at that time, and then I went to the windows, and I had saw Ann and her sister walk by the driver's side of my car, and then that's it.
That's what you saw?
Yeah.
There came a time when you went back outside to your car?
When my mom and her friend had shown up at the school.
So you waited inside until they came?
Yeah.
And the reason you called your mother was to sort of escort you out of the school?
Yeah.
Because you were afraid of a confrontation with her?
Yeah.
And describe what you saw when you went to your car.
My mom's friend actually had noticed the side of the car.
Don't tell me what anybody else noticed. Tell me what you saw.
I saw that the whole entire side of my driver's side had been keyed from the front of the car to the end of the car.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 16-year-old Jessica Hugin says former friend, 18-year-old Ann Leyugan, keyed her car and is denying the charge.
Let me see the photographs, which I'm sure you have. Okay, I'll hear you.
I just know that I picked up my sister once after I had my baby. My baby was maybe, I think, 2 weeks old. I went there to pick up my sister. She was with my former teacher, and Josh, my fiance, was on his way with my son. He's a witness to what happened, and me and my sister, we just went back into the school to show my former teacher the baby. I walked back over to Josh's car and I left, and I never even keyed her car. She doesn't even go to school there. She goes to an alternative school, and I would never key her car. I didn't even know what she drove. When I stopped being friends with her, she was only 15 years old.
Do you have any witnesses who were there?
Yeah, my fiance.
Step up. Tell me your last name.
Caps, Joshua Caps.
You are the father of her child?
Yes, I am.
What time did you arrive at the school that day?
No later than after Ann showed up. She was outside, and I saw her sister talking to her former teacher.
Approximately what time?
Like 2:36.
So before you arrived, you don't know what she was doing?
No.
So she was there alone with her sister?
Yeah, and Mrs., which was the teacher.
Outside when you saw her?
Yeah.
And after you saw her, you showed Mrs. the baby?
Ann and her sister came up to me right when I parked in the parking lot. They told me that they were going to run inside and show Mrs. her son, and they went inside and came right back out.
When you arrived, the girls had already parked their car?
Yeah.
And was standing outside the school?
Yes.
She came up to you in the parking lot?
Ann and her sister did, yes.
Took the baby and went back inside?
Yes.
Then came outside?
Mm-hmm.
Did you wait for her?
Yeah.
Did she leave with you or with her sister?
She took her car, and she took her sister. She was there to pick up her sister, and I followed them.
So she drove alone to the school if she was there to pick up her sister?
Yeah.
Why do you think that she would make up this story about seeing you going over near her car?
Because she's mad because I just stopped being friends with her. And
Yeah, but her car got keyed.
there was a lot of people at that school that didn't like her, which is why she decided to drop out of that school and go to the alternative, because she didn't get along with a lot of people.
She wasn't there that long. She
I
wasn't
don't know
at school
how
that long that day.
I don't know how long she was there.
Well, she didn't go to school there. She
And-
wasn't there for the whole day.
Well, I went to pick up my sister.
Talking about her. Step up, please. Did you see the car that morning?
Yes, I saw the car the whole day until Jessie went to school to pick up her friend.
When you say you saw the car the whole day, she left from your house to go to the school to pick up her friend?
Yes, and that's about maybe 3 miles, 4 at the most.
But you had seen the car?
Yes.
No question in your mind?
No question in my mind whatsoever.
There was no damage to the car when she left?
No. Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm not sure if this is the time to bring this up. We also, you were talking about Jessica being afraid, and that's why she went back in the school. We have an anti-harassment order against Anne for protection, and I have a copy of that if you
Like to
want to
see it.
see that. This
Your-
is the one that
Your
we
Honor,
had
I
filed,
also
Your
have,
Honor.
since she's gotten a
And-
restraining order, she has been in my work asking for
Can
my
I
new
see?
address, and I
And-
have affidavits of
Excuse
people that
me.
I work with.
And this is the court copy that was actually granted. And Jessica had a baby on the 21st of June and was in the hospital she was released on Saturday. And then she was home, so I'm
I
not
have
sure what.
affidavits of I have
I don't
an
read
affidavit.
affidavits.
What?
I don't read affidavits.
Okay, well, I have them.
Okay, whether you have them or not, I hear witnesses. You attended a court hearing?
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
Was there a full hearing?
Yes.
There was testimony taken. Is
Yes.
that right? And after the testimony is taken, there was a protective order issued. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have a lawyer?
I work full-time, and I'm a full-time college student, and I had to pay my rent. I can't afford a lawyer.
Okay. Well, the court made specific findings after a hearing. The testimony with regard to the application for the protective order dealt with 2 incidents. First incident, which we have not gone into today, which involves a stalking, threatening kind of incident, and then the second incident which involved the school. The court heard the testimony of all witnesses. How many witnesses were there aside from both of you? Any other
There
witnesses?
were him, my fiance, my mom, and my sister.
The court found that the current contact between the parties was initiated by the respondent only, that's you, that the respondent's course of conduct appears to be designed to alarm, annoy, and harass the petitioner, that was her. Contact by the respondent with the petitioner or the petitioner's family has not been limited in any manner by previous court order, which means there was no prior restraining order. And the court ordered you to remain from making any attempts to contact her, going within 2 city blocks of her residence or workplace.
She doesn't work.
Well, evidently the court didn't believe your fiancé or your sister.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have to make a determination based upon the testimony that I've heard today, and the testimony that I've heard today that I find most credible is that you keyed her car. Can I please see an estimate of the damage?
Your Honor, I also brought an estimate for a rental car. It's the only car that we have, and at the top of the
I'm not
estimate.
taking into consideration your rental car.
Okay.
What year car is this?
A 93 Pontiac Grand Am.
93 car can be painted for less than $2,218. You can find a paint job for less money than that for an 8-year-old car. I suggest you do that.
Okay.
Bird, I'm not really good at this. How much can you get a nice paint job for?
I really couldn't say, Judge. Depends on what kind of paint job, and depends on who you get to do it.
Can you get a nice paint
Your
job
Honor.
for $800?
Your Honor, excuse me. I don't mean to interrupt. I have another estimate here. I didn't hand both of them. I've got 2 different ones.
A little more reasonable.
Well, now you're talking a little bit better, $1,450.
Depends on how far it was keyed, Judge.
Keyed the whole side. $1,450 sounds much more reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I have those 2 estimates. Should have handed me both. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $1,400. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He slept with my ex-boyfriend.
I hope that Ann will just leave everything in how it is.
He doesn't say that that's his kid.
I'm just glad it's over, and I hope Anne will put this to rest and leave us alone.
She just doesn't even know who the father of her child is.
Get my car fixed, that's all I want.
I think that there's a lot of girls at Mount Spokane that hate her guts, and anybody could have done it.
If someone's gonna follow me into the school, more than likely, she did it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Coleman versus Denies. Step forward, please.
20-year-old sales associate Michelle Coleman is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old auto painter Brad Denies, for illegally repossessing her car. Brad is countersuing, claiming Michelle wrecked 2 of his cars.
Ms. Coleman, you and the defendant were engaged to be married, and according to your complaint, during the course of your engagement, you were not engaged.
We were
to
not
be
engaged.
That's a lie.
So
Don't. So then let's get to the second thing maybe we can agree on, that you bought a car
Yes.
that is in both your names, as well as the car loan.
Yes.
Then according to your complaint, you broke up, you kept the car. For some reason, which you will explain to me, the car was impounded. He got the car out of impound, paid the fees to get it out of impound, he kept the car. You want all the payments back that you made on the car plus your down payment. How much was the down payment?
$4,000.
He is counterclaiming for 2 cars that you allegedly damaged in April of 2000.
Yes.
Sir, do you admit or deny that she put down the down payment?
She used her check to put the down payment, yes. But half the money was mine because she owed me rent
What she owe you rent from?
from the time we lived together, which was 9 months.
That's a lie. We never lived
Just a
together.
minute.
Yes, we did live together.
Just a second. So what you're telling me is part of the money was yours because she owed you money.
Yes,
Did you tell her that at the time?
yes.
Look at me and tell me what
Okay.
you said to her when you signed the papers for the car loan.
I said that we are going to go in this car together, 50-50, because you were saving up for a car. When you lived with me, I didn't make you pay no rent, no utilities, so you could save up for your own car,
And what?
and that's it.
And that's it. Okay. So let me explain something to you. You didn't put any money down towards the car. The fact, Mr. Denies,
Yes.
that you just said to me, there was an agreement, and I'm taking your word, that you did live together, and your agreement was that she wouldn't pay any bills, but save up to buy a car. That's what you
Yes.
just said to me.
Yes.
Fine. Put your hand down. She didn't owe you the money. So $4,000 you put down on the car.
Yes.
Okay. And then you drove the car for how many months?
About 4 months, 5 months.
Until what date did you drive the car?
The car was impounded in November. So November
How was the car impounded? Under what circumstances?
I started seeing a new guy, and I loaned him the car. He didn't tell me he didn't have a license. He called me and told me that my car was impounded.
You got the car out of impound.
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you getting the car out of impound.
I called her about 2 weeks before it got out of impound, and I said, what are we going to do about the car? She says, well, if you bail it out, then you can take over the $800 payments. And I go, you want me to do that? She goes, I don't care.
Okay. Now, when he bailed the car out, when he got it out of impound December 18th, did you have any further conversation with him?
Yes, I did. I told him that I was going to fight for it because I wanted my car back.
So did you sue him in December?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in January?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in February?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in March?
That's when I started getting everything going.
Did you sue him in March?
No, I did not.
What were you driving?
I had bought another car.
Right. How did I know that? How much did it cost you to get the car out of impound?
$805.
You have a receipt for that?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Let me see it, please.
It was supposed to actually cost $795, but they charged us an extra $15 for cleanup of glass because her and her boyfriend broke a bunch of glass outside.
$805. So we are deducting $805 from the $4,000. Now let's get to your counterclaim. You say that while together she damaged 2 of your cars. You want to tell me about that, Miss Coleman?
I was pulling into the driveway, and his 66 Mustang doesn't have power steering, and I didn't turn it hard enough, and I dented the door of his other car.
Do you have a paid bill with regard to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see it, please?
Yeah, it's both of them.
These are estimates. Was the work done on the car?
Those are receipts, actually, ma'am.
They're both preliminary estimates.
Ma'am, he did all the work himself.
It says, if you read in it, it says paid in cash, and it has a date that it was paid in cash. My father paid for it.
What, sir? Step up.
Your Honor, those are art copies of the original.
Who paid this money?
I did.
Well, let's see if this gentleman knows anything about this.
There was nothing wrong with the quarter panel.
Yes, good morning. This is Judge Judy Sheindlin. Who am I speaking to? Can you tell me what your job is there? You're a paint prepper. Okay. Do you work on most of the cars that come through there? Okay. I have Brad Denys, D-E-N-Y-S. Do you know him? Do you recall doing any work on a 1966 Ford Mustang and a 1992 Ford Mustang? You don't. If work was done on those two cars, you know, the old Mustangs, and it involved painting, that would have been your job. So you do all of that, okay? And you have not worked on either a 66 or a 92 Ford Mustang? No. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. They didn't paint your car there.
Yes, they did.
You know who was on the phone? The only person in the shop that does the paint prep work on cars. I'm going to dismiss without prejudice your counterclaim. The 4 months in car payments that you paid, you had the use of your car. You drove it.
Yes.
Pay for it. He's not going to pay for that. And I find that through your own negligence, you allowed your car to be driven by someone who had absolutely no reason to drive your car because they had a bad license.
Yes.
And in order to get the car out of the impound, he in fact had to pay $805 to do that.
I had the money to go down.
And I further find that you had no intention of getting the car out because you went and you bought yourself a new car. So I am deducting the $805 from the $4,000 that you put down as a down payment. What are you doing with this car now, Mr. Denys?
I drive it.
Good. So you put down for that car $3,195. That was your down payment. That you have to pay her back.
$1,500 of the dollars was towards tax. $1,500 also was toward a extended warranty, which I did not want.
Who cares? You got it. You bought it. And you're going to enjoy it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,195. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was mad because he wasn't going to have me back. He wanted us to get back together, and he knew that we weren't going to get back together.
I already had another girlfriend.
I should have just stayed away from him as far as...
Osvito, step forward, please.
50-year-old Eva Jones is suing her former friend, 37-year-old salesperson Melanie Azevedo, for child support costs during the time Melanie was in drug rehab.
Ms. Jones, according to your complaint, the defendant was a friend of yours.
Yes.
Who was entering a drug rehabilitation program and had a child, a daughter. And you took the child to live with you. And what this is about is you claim that she agreed to pay you for taking care of the child and she owes you for babysitting.
Yeah.
Okay. First tell me, how old is the child now?
Chandra's 13.
And how old was she when she came to live with you?
Let's see, 11 and 12.
Do you remember when she came to live with you?
It was middle of October of 1999.
So far, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she live with you continuously from 1999 until she went back with her mother?
Yes.
When did she go back with her mother?
February 2nd of 2001.
Well, that's a long time. How long was your rehab?
I went in October, or actually the middle of November, And I stayed longer than 3 months because I felt like I needed more time in there. And then I got out in July of last year.
But you left your daughter with the plaintiff.
Well, can I say something? When I went in, I was going to leave both of my kids with my fiance here.
That would have been a mistake.
Well,
Go ahead.
CPS got involved and said I couldn't leave Chandra with Randall because she wasn't his biological daughter.
Right.
And we weren't married yet.
Right.
So Eva stepped up and said she would take her. And then CPS told Eva to apply for foster care fund. Okay, all these months, she's telling me she was getting foster care fund for Chandra.
Did you get any foster care money?
No, I was unable to get any type of money because I was not a blood relative.
Well, that's not true. Did you apply to become a foster parent?
I was a foster parent at one time, yes. And I didn't want to renew my license. Okay.
Was there any reason why you didn't want to renew your license?
What had happened was it was only supposed to be temporary, 90 days. All right, and like Melanie says, yes, she did feel she needed more time. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll handle it because I knew she was not working and knew the situation. She had gotten a job, I think about in April, being a demonstrator for, you know, like cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Then she got a better job.
When was this?
This was in about April or May.
Of what year?
Of 2000.
Is that right?
I worked at a demo place, and then the place I'm working at called me, so I stopped working for their place, and I started working for them since June until now. I'm still working.
And your daughter was living with Miss Jones?
That's right.
Okay, did you send her any money?
No, I was seeing Miss Jones, and every time I would try to take my daughter shopping or give Miss Jones money, she would tell me no because she was getting foster care fund for my daughter, so...
I never told you that.
Yes, she did.
Never told you that.
Yes, she did.
I never told you I was getting any type of foster care for Chandra.
Do you have other children in your home?
Yes, I do.
How many other children do you have in your home?
4.
Who are they?
2 of them are my kids, and the other 2 I have guardianship of.
And under those guardianship provisions, do you get state funds for those
Yes,
children?
I do.
So the likelihood of you getting foster care funds and opening up, now I understand, and opening up a file for a 5th child would not have been a good idea because they would have come in and they would have given you potentially a problem with regard to at least the 2 children over whom you have guardianship. So now I know why there were no foster funds coming in for your child into the house because there were state funds coming in for the other children. Do you understand?
I would have had to go and file for guardianship of the child.
I understand the whole drill. I don't know whether she does, it's not important. I understand the whole drill. I've been there many years. I got it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Eva Jones says former friend Melanie Azevedo owes her for child support. Melanie says Eva was paid through the foster care system.
Now, in your complaint, Miss Jones, you say that you told Melanie that you needed at least $50 a month for Chandra. But needless to say, Melanie never made any payment. So am I to assume that you made an agreement with her as to what amount she would give you for Chandra's care?
I called and I said, you know, Melanie, what your New Year's resolution should be is to give me at least $50 a month for Chandra.
And what did she say?
I can't do it.
So you didn't have an agreement. You said this was agreed upon.
No, we did. She said if she could, she would.
Okay. Just for my own information, do you work outside of the home?
I did during the Christmas holidays.
But other than that, you have no regular employment outside of the home?
No, I don't, because 2 of my children have medical problems. I have to take them to therapy every week, and it makes it kind of difficult, because one is bipolar plus ADHD.
You get additional funds for that child?
Yes, I do.
So am I correct, Miss Jones, that there was never a formal agreement between you and the defendant about how much money she would pay for the support of her daughter?
No, there was never a formal agreement.
So under what theory do you believe I can award you money? Certainly not on a contract basis.
Well, like I said, it's the first 3 months, it was a voluntary thing that was done. The other 13 months, she was supposed to have gotten herself together, got her own place, and come and got Chandra.
And she didn't.
Which she did not do.
She didn't.
In the meantime, Chandra, I put her in the charter school with my kids, had to buy uniforms, My children also take piano and violin. They're in the chorus. They go to summer camps. All this had to be paid for.
Where is your daughter now?
She's with my sister.
Why is she with your sister?
Okay, see, Chandler was really mad at me because I went into rehab. She didn't want me to go. And Ms. Jones told her that I abandoned her, which I didn't.
That is not true.
Just a second. Don't say anything bad about her. She watched your child for a year and a half.
Chandler will say that, Miss.
Listen to me.
She will.
Did your daughter want to go back to Miss Jones, or did she want to go live with her aunt?
She can't go to Miss Jones because the investigator already said if she goes back to Miss Jones, the investigator's going to arrest her personally.
Why?
Because when I got out of rehab, she wouldn't let me talk to Chandra. She wouldn't let me come and see Chandra. And if I did get to talk to her on the phone, she was sitting right there, and it was only for like 2 minutes, the longest, you know.
Are you back in a program now?
No, ma'am, I'm at Sober Living.
What is that?
That's,
You're not living in your own place. You're living in a different place.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to save some money so I can get on my feet to have my kids.
Ms. Jones, have you seen Chandra since she was taken from your home?
I had an opportunity to see Chandra Saturday.
How's she doing with her aunt?
Some days are good days, some are bad days. At one point, she tried to run away. Okay? It is not true how Ms. Azevedo is saying that I told her that she abandoned her. I did not tell Chandra that.
I didn't think that you did.
When Melanie would call and want to take Chandra shopping, I said, well, Melanie, you'd have to ask Chandra because Chandra's 13. Chandra can speak for herself. Chandra can say whether or not if she wants to go with you or not.
All right. Her mother has disappointed her for a very long time. Listen, Miss Jones, you can't get any money. You can't get blood from a stone. So I want you to listen to me. You didn't have an agreement with her about how much she was going to pay you. And I have a feeling, Miss Jones, that you didn't do this for money with regard to Chandra anyway.
No, I didn't.
I hope that you're comfortable that Chandra is okay with her aunt. Because
Chandra is not okay with her aunt.
Because if out of spite, out of some other reason other than a maternal feeling of wanting to do the right thing for the child, she didn't let her come back to you after she removed her from your house.
Because
That's a terrible thing.
She sent the police to the school, went to the school. Police yanked Chandra out of the school. Chandra's running up and down the street, okay? When Chandra went to her aunt, Chandra has been upset ever since, all right? Chandra has emailed me every time she asks Melanie, when am I going home?
You come to my job and ask me when she's coming home.
And that was it. I do that, Melanie, because when I talk with Chandra, Chandra's asking me, when can she come home?
When she says come home, you mean go home to her mother?
No, she means come home with me. And I tell her, I say, well, that's up, you got to ask your mom.
Sounds to me as this young girl is not having an appropriate voice.
No one has asked Chandra what she wants.
You have a case in the family court, Miss Acevedo?
No, ma'am.
That's really too bad. All right, Miss Jones, you can not collect any money from Miss Acevedo. Miss Acevedo is lucky she's able to negotiate herself. You didn't have a contract with her, right?
Right.
But I'll have somebody speak to Chandra. Thank you. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She lied. As it stands right now, Chandra is not happy.
But I guess that's how it goes.
I really did not do this for the money. It was just the fact to let Melanie know I wanted her to acknowledge her daughter.
I preferred my daughter to go somewhere else, but that's not the way it happened.
She's the one who asked me to keep Chandra. I did not volunteer. She asked me.
I'm not trusting anybody anymore.
For medical bills resulting from an assault, Marianne is countersuing for her medical bills.
Come to order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 149 on the calendar in the matter of Haywood versus Wigner. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Haywood, you live in a condominium complex.
Yes.
The defendant lives there as well. She is head of the homeowners association.
No, that's not correct.
What are you in charge of?
I'm not now, but during the incident, I was a property manager.
Okay, but you also live there.
Yes.
And it is your claim that the defendant instigated an assault for which you were arrested. You want to be reimbursed for all of your medical bills, for your lost wages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The defendant says that you were actually the aggressor in this assault, and she is counterclaiming. Now, the problem that developed between the two of you had to do with trash.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a trial with regard to this assault. You were the complainant.
Yes.
And that case was dismissed.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Okay, I was in my living room playing Nintendo with my son and my nieces, and all of a sudden I just heard a bang, and I looked, and it was trash on my door. And basically I knew it was Marianne because a week before she had told me, you know how they deliver the city trash cans?
No, I don't know how they deliver city trash cans.
Well, they deliver the city everybody has them now, the city trash dumpsters. Well, they had delivered them, and I used my trash can, so she put a note on my door saying...
She told you, don't use the trash cans, use the dumpster.
Yes, ma'am.
And you put your trash in the trash can.
Yes.
So that you heard a thud outside, and you saw your trash where?
On my front porch against my door.
Okay. Did you see who put it there?
Well, actually, I saw her walking away. I didn't see her put it there. I saw her walking away from there, the only person.
So you assumed it was her. So what did you do?
Well, I went to the door to see who put it there. I saw her walking up, and so I went. I put on shoes. I wasn't dressed. I had on a gown. So I went and threw on some sweatpants and a shirt, and actually I went out, put it back on her porch.
And how far is her porch from your porch?
It's probably like 8 feet. I stood at the stairs, and I kind of tossed it back on her porch.
So you didn't go up on her porch. You took the trash, and you threw it on her porch.
I tossed it, yeah, just like she did mine. But she wasn't in there.
You didn't see her throw the trash on your
Well, she admits it.
Shh. I want you to try answering my questions.
Okay.
You didn't see her put the trash on your porch.
No, I did not.
You came out, saw the trash on your porch, and flung it on her porch.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened next?
So then I went back into my house, and it came flying back against my door again.
You didn't see who it was?
No, I thought it was her.
And what did you do next?
Basically,
now you got your garbage on your porch.
It was tit for tat. I mean, in actuality.
I asked you what you did next.
I went and I threw it back on hers again. That's
not true, Your Honor. Just a second. And what happened next?
She came out and pepper sprayed me, and the gardener was a witness to that.
So she came out, and she sprayed you in the face?
Yes.
What happened next?
So then when she sprayed me, it's like it got into, because I actually was turning, when she opened her door, I was turning to go back to my apartment. So when I turned to go back to my apartment, when it got in my eye, when I turned back around, when I heard her door open, I turned around, and so it got me right here in this eye. So in actuality, I held my eye, and I went to grab her can from her because she was walking towards me spraying. So I went to grab the can of pepper spray from her, and then we struggled over it. Like, you know, trying to get it away from each other because I was going to spray her back, to be honest with you, because she sprayed me.
Okay, go ahead.
So then as we struggled over it, she hit me because it wasn't getting loose. I hit her, and we hit each other, and we struggled over this can. And basically with one hand on the can and one hand, like, striking each other.
Yes.
That's
not true, Your Honor. Just not going to get to you in a minute. Go ahead.
Then we ended up over a fence where Mr. had came down, and he grabbed me from behind and choked me and dragged me back. And at that time, Marianne came with a rake, and I grabbed, and while he's choking me, and I'm on the ground. He's a director of the condominium, one of the directors. He owns the apartment or condo above Marianne.
So he saw the scuffle, evidently, and went out and restrained you, and she went and got a rake. Is that what you just said?
Well, he didn't see it. Well, he was upstairs, and then he came down. And so, yes, and then she grabbed a rake from the gardener.
Yes.
And came at me with it, and it's like as I'm trying to pry his hands away from me, I'm on my knees. I reached up when she came at me. You know, I saw through my peripheral vision a person approaching me, so I just reached up at the time she came at me with it, and I grabbed it from her.
And
then I tried to get Mr. off because I'm asthmatic and I couldn't breathe, so I'm trying to get him off of me. Then he starts letting go of me as I'm standing up, catching my breath, because it took a few seconds before I could catch my breath. He, like, I guess to grab the rake from me, he stepped towards me, and I hit him with the rake. I swung the rake. It hit him in his head, and I dropped the rake, and I walked into my house, and I called 911.
You were, in fact, convicted of assaulting Mr.
I was found guilty.
You were found guilty. You were convicted.
Yes.
Of assaulting Mr.
With a lesser battery, yes.
But acquitted after a trial with regard to the defendant.
Yeah, they dropped charges against me for her.
All right, so now you tell me your version of what happened.
Could I go back a little bit deeper than that?
To when?
October of 1999?
No. Stay with this. If there was bad blood between the two of you, that's not relevant.
It kind of sets the scene, but anyway, 14 cans were delivered in the parking lot along the edge of the back into the parking lot, real close to one of the units. The only reason they were delivered there was because we were going to do an enclosure out where the dumpster is on the street and then move the 14 cans out there. So it was like a temporary layover. So I delivered a notice to all units and let them know that until further notice, please use the dumpster. So a few days later, there's 2 cans that are full of trash. Well, actually, one was full of trash. It was unit number 9. It had the numbers on each one of the cans.
What unit are you in?
That's not true.
Just answer my question.
I'm unit number 9.
You're number 9?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
And I delivered a notice to both unit number 9 and 11 and reiterated the fact that we have a dumpster and you don't use the trash cans, and please take the trash out of there and put it in the dumpster. Number 11 came to me and she said, I'm so sorry. She said, I debated whether I should do that or not. And the next thing I know, I get this back on my door. They shouldn't be there then. You empty them yourself and kiss my crazy, which was typical of the conversations I would have with Paula over parking issues.
Just a second. Shh. Why did you write her this nasty note?
Well, I didn't. In actuality,
why did you write her this nasty note?
I did not write that exact what it says. I mean, and basically that is copied on there. I mean, because I saw that when I went to trial. I did say that they shouldn't be there, but I did not say the B word. I mean, I didn't call her in actuality.
No, you wrote this down.
No, I wrote that you're crazy. The crazy part, but I did not write.
Yeah, you wrote a nasty note.
Oh no,
you were crazy.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you wrote
did
crazy. Told it empty.
You know why?
I'm speaking.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Paula Haywood says neighbor Marianne Wigner pepper sprayed her during an argument over garbage cans. Marianne claims Paula instigated the fight.
Can I ask you a question? Put it down.
Okay.
What's the difference if the condominium where you're living says, please don't use the trash cans, please use the dumpster? What's the skin off your nose in taking your trash and putting it in the dumpster?
Okay, I have pictures. It was in evidence, but basically, and she gave me a note. She has a note that says, you know, the dumpsters are overloaded. We're going to be getting a lock or something because we think other people are using our dumpsters. And, you know, don't put your trash on the ground outside of the dumpster.
So, madam,
so there was
talking
nowhere
about
else.
being civilized. So if you get this note and if the dumpster is full, why don't you say, listen, I got the note and I'd be more than happy to comply, but they're full, so I have to use the cans.
She had never gave me that. I do my job. I was working from 8 to 8, doing caregiving for a handicapped child. And I lost my job, making $100 a night, but I never received that letter. She put that on my door, actually, when she threw the trash back the second time. That was attached to the trash can.
I don't know if I believe you. I think that you copped an attitude. That doesn't mean you're entitled to get sprayed with pepper spray. I'm not there yet, but I believe you copped an attitude. Now, you find the trash on your door. Who threw the trash on her porch?
Bob actually put the bag on her porch and said, please take this trash out to the dumpster where it belongs.
Why would Mr. take the trash and put it on her porch? I mean, that's sort of an aggressive act to take it and toss it on her porch.
I didn't expect him to do that. What happened was that there were previous confrontations with Paula Haywood over parking incidents, and I was attacked by her in my home. She came in my home, she tore the phone off my wall, she jabbed at me, and she socked me in the eye. And then her mother, before the police came out, her mother did the same thing. She walked right in my home. I'm getting ready to pack.
So why, those are the things you want to talk about from before.
Yeah, right. So,
so you're not happy with these people as tenants.
Right, and I've had other...
Now, after she took the trash and tossed it on your porch,
yes,
what did you do?
I didn't throw it. I put it down in front of her door, and then I walked away.
Go ahead. What happened next?
Then I was with the maintenance man in front of my unit, and I was helping him pick up some weeds and some trash and things. The next thing I know, I felt something behind me. I had previous to that, picked up some pepper spray because of my previous incidents with her. And so I had the pepper spray in my hand. I heard something, and I turned around, and she has this bag that I had already inspected. In fact, here's the pictures. It has that it was her bag. There were 3 jugs of glass in there. So when I saw her hurling it, and it was about ready to come down on me, I pushed the spray. I didn't really know how to use the pepper spray, but I sprayed it. It hit her in the chin. I did see that. It didn't hit her in the eye. It hit her in the chin. The next thing I know, all hell broke loose, and she grabbed a hold of me in the back of my hair. She threw me over the 3-foot iron railing, and she took that can out of my hand, and she beat me. I've got pictures here of what she did to me. I've got bruises on my ribs, my eyes, and my forehead.
Your Honor.
Just a minute. You told your story.
Please get a chance.
Did you see these photographs?
And yes, I did.
Just answer my
question.
question.
Yes, I did.
You have seen these pretty serious.
Yes, I saw them.
These are pretty serious.
Okay, can I please say something, Your Honor?
Just a second.
Okay.
I'm speaking. What were you doing yard work holding pepper spray?
Because of some previous incidents with...
You mean you walk around all the time with pepper spray?
I do now, since she came in my home.
You
and
walk
attacked
around
me.
all the time carrying pepper spray?
Not all the time. Just if I'm outside doing some work and the parking situation, especially on the weekend, gets pretty bad. And she's not the only one that retaliates. There's 4 of them, and I'm by myself. And these 4 people lash out quite a bit. No one has ever attacked me, though, except for Paula and her mother.
Do you have any photographs of your injuries?
No, let me tell you this. First of all, I'm dark skinned. I did admit I hit her. And no, I did not bruise. She said she hit me, we fought. Yes,
I didn't say. I just asked you
a question. Oh, no, I don't, because you know why I don't bruise.
The answer is...
No, I mean, I
you
don't.
don't have
I do have a medical record.
Then I'd like to see it. I'd like to see your medical record.
Okay. And then...
All right, so you went and took x-rays, and the x-rays were normal. Is that right?
It says it was a reversal and that means I had a sprain. And I wore a hard neck brace for 7 days, and then I had to go back, and I wore a soft one for 7 days.
Now, Miss Haywood, when you saw the trash that she had put back on your porch, and you see her walking.
I saw her throw it. I mean, I was out the window.
Just answer my question.
Okay,
You're
yes,
not going to think
yes.
faster than I am. I guarantee it, madam. You started this whole problem because you didn't follow the rules.
Her rules?
I'm making that judgment. There were 14 units, and you have the problem. That doesn't mean that you are responsible for your getting sprayed in the face, but I have to find out, when you saw the trash that she admits she put back on your porch, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Did you walk down the steps with the trash?
No, it's up the steps. I went up the steps.
You had to walk up?
No, it's like 3 steps. I mean, they're not...
A step is a step. Do you have to walk down the steps to get to where she was, or did you have to walk up the steps to get to where she was?
Both.
I have 3 steps down, then 3 steps up. Okay. And then her door is like 6 feet or 6 feet from the step I threw the bag from while she was inside.
Where was she when you tossed it?
She was inside her house because she came out, the door flew open, I turned around, she sprayed me.
Now, you were doing work with the gardener?
Yes.
You were working with him outside?
Yes.
Don't you think he would have been a good witness here?
Yes. He was let go because of his slowness and he wasn't dependable.
Did he testify at the criminal trial?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He did?
He testified, and I have all the tapes.
Can you see if you can find that on the tape?
What happened? ¿Qué pasó? Cuando yo miré Marianne de la puerta, when I saw Marianne coming out of the door, diciendo cosas totalmente. They were orally saying things to one another. They were arguing. Did you see how the fight started? ¿Usted cómo empezó la pelea? No, porque cuando ellas estaban... Cuando Marianne salió de la puerta y ella también. No, because when Marianne came out of the door, yo me volteé. I turned around.
The witness clearly says that he saw you, Miss Wagner, coming out the door.
I was at my door because it's right there in the same general area that the yard is.
I understand that, but he clearly said he saw you coming out the door, which means that you weren't out doing yard work. I have to believe one version or the other, and it seems much more logical to me that you saw the trash being thrown on your door, You ran and you got your pepper spray, and you came out your door, and you sprayed her with it. I say that because if you're outside doing yard work, it means you're working with both your hands. It's sort of cumbersome to walk around holding a can of pepper spray. In any event, you tell me, Miss Haywood, what you believe your damages were as a result of this unfortunate incident.
I lost my job. I've lost wages. I have a note for my job.
How did you lose your job?
Okay, at the time that I did this happen, I was making, I have it right here, I was making $100 a night.
Just a second. How did you lose your job
because if she never would have initiated, I was not found guilty. I was found not guilty, or there was charges dropped against Mary Ann. So she was the initiator. None of this would have ever took place, ma'am.
So, just a second. Is your claim here that because you were convicted of one assault, that is with regard to Mr. and that conviction would never have taken place but for the fact that she started this altercation with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your cause of action here?
Yes, ma'am. And
sorry. You were not incarcerated because of her. You didn't lose your jobs because of her. You overreacted with regard to Mr. You hit him with a rake that they probably considered a dangerous instrument. And you were convicted with regard to that.
I mean, because of the fact this woman her actions caused all this to take place. Because I even have it where he choked me, and I have the testimony.
Let me explain something to you.
Okay, I don't know.
The money that you lost.
She did the wrong thing. She should not have come out her door and sprayed you with the pepper spray. But that doesn't mean that you can sue her because you got into an altercation and then you assaulted somebody else. So your case, Miss Haywood, is dismissed, as is your counterclaim, Miss Wagner. You sprayed her with the pepper spray. She reacted, you got injured, but you were the aggressor with the pepper spray. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I do think it was unfair because I never had a criminal record ever in my life.
You can't talk to her. You can't even say hi to her without her saying some obscene sentence.
It was just humiliating. I didn't get to talk to my child for 6 days. I wasn't calling him from jail.
Victims, watch out.
The next case.
All parties on Douglas versus Whalen. Step forward, please.
29-year-old kitchen designer Rob Douglas is suing his former roommate, 27-year-old pipe coverer Sean Whalen, for intentionally breaking his dog's leg.
Mr. Douglas, according to your complaint, the defendant was a friend of yours and you decided to share an apartment together. You moved into the apartment and you have a small dog.
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a dachshund.
It is your complaint that the defendant purposefully caused your dog to have a broken leg. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you move into this apartment together?
February of 2000.
How many people moved into the apartment?
There was 3 of us.
Did you have the dog in February of 2000?
Yes, I did.
So that you knew that the dog would be moving
I
in?
knew the dog would be coming in, but I also knew that there wasn't no pets allowed in the apartment.
I just asked you if you knew the dog would be coming in.
All right.
When was the dog's leg broken?
The dog's leg was broken a week before I was moved out in February of 2001.
You weren't at home at the time.
No, I wasn't.
What indication do you have that Mr. Whalen did this act purposefully?
He would tantalize the dog. Whenever the dog came into the room, he would stomp near it. One time he threw a beer can at it. Sean and I got into a fight over that. He had broken the dog's cage.
How did he break the dog's cage?
He stepped on the top of it and put a hole into it.
When did he do that?
I was at work again.
When did I do that?
Shh, don't speak to him.
I was at work. I came home, and the dog's cage, I left it in the kitchen. And I came into the kitchen, and there was a huge hole in the top of it. And I asked Sean what had happened. He said the dog had been barking in the cage, and that he had stomped on the top of the cage and broke it.
You mean to stop the dog from barking?
Right. But in the process, he put a huge hole in it.
Wrong.
And I went out and bought a new cage, and then I started keeping the dog up in my room.
In the cage?
Right.
Now, what happened in February of 2001, sir?
I came home from work, and Sean was laying on the living room couch, and he said, "You better sit down." And I said, "Why?" He's like, "Don't flip out." And I'm like, "What'd you break?" And as this time I was sitting down, the dog came down the stairs, limping, and he jumped up on me, on my lap. And I looked at his leg, and it was like hanging, dangling, and the bone was like coming through the skin. He's like, I brought him to the vets. He said that the dog's leg needed to be wired. It was going to be over $2,000. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I was bringing the dog back up to his cage, and he wiggled out of my arms, and he fell on. I had a saw on the top of my stairs, because I'm a carpenter too. And he said he dropped it on the saw, the dog on the saw.
What time of the day did you leave that day in February?
For work, I left at 8:30 in the morning.
And where was the dog when you left for work?
In his cage in my room.
That's wrong.
Shh. I'm going to get to you. Didn't you
All
understand? What words don't you understand?
All right, I'm all right.
The dog was in the cage when
Yes.
you left. Had you walked the dog that morning?
I let him out the back door. Every morning I would let him out the back door to go to the bathroom, and then I put him up in his cage.
And what time did you return from work that day?
Like 5:30.
So the dog isn't walked between 8:30 and 5:30.
Right. But my other roommate, third roommate, would come home from work at 7:30 in the morning, go to bed, because he worked at night.
Right.
And when he'd get up, he would let the dog out before I got home from work. And then put the dog back in
At
his
what
cage.
time?
Whenever.
Okay. What time did you bring the dog to the vet?
Probably got there around 3 o'clock.
Was that before or after the third roommate woke up?
He wasn't home.
He wasn't home at all?
No.
Okay. And where did you find the dog?
I think he was in the living room,
What was he doing in the living room?
just sitting there. So I was going to bring him up to his cage. I didn't like the dog being out because it would mess in the apartment almost on a daily basis. And I was on my way out again, so I wanted the dog back in his crate. So I brought him up. I was bringing him upstairs, and it squirmed out of my arms. He knew where I was bringing him. He didn't want to go there, probably. Squirmed out of my arms, fell on the saw, made a horrible noise, and then it looked to me like his leg was broken, so I brought him to the vet.
Mr. Whalen, I read your answer very carefully, and it's clear from your answer, sir, that you didn't like this little dog. Could you tell me why?
I didn't like its behavior. It must be over 3 years old. It has not been properly trained. It would just pretty much do whatever it wanted. I've seen the dog on a table eating out of a bowl that I would eat out of, standing up on a table. The thing was untrained. It's not that I didn't like the dog. I didn't like the way it behaved. It should have been taken care of better than it was.
Why did you stomp on the cage?
I didn't stomp on the cage. I kicked it, the metal front.
Right.
And I kicked that, and that
Why
was
did you
dented.
kick at it?
Because the thing it was barking. It wouldn't be quiet.
So that's the way you thought you would get it to be quiet?
A little
by kicking it?
intimidation, yeah.
And the beer can incident.
I don't recall that incident.
Well, try to think hard. He seems to remember that you threw a beer can in the dog's direction, and then you had a fight about it. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
What responsibility, Mr. Whalen, do you believe you had with regard to the expenses for taking care of this dog?
None.
Why not?
I was simply bringing it back up to its cage, where it should have been.
Had you ever picked up this dog before?
Yes,
Many times?
many times.
Have you ever put the dog back in its cage before?
Yes, I have.
So the dog has tried to squirm not to go back into the cage before?
Yeah, it has.
When you came home on that day in February, Mr. Whalen, did you look around the house to see if the dog had messed in either your room or around the house?
I didn't look around. I just saw him out, and I brought him upstairs. But it had in the hallway where it usually does. Pretty much the same spot
On
every
that
time.
day?
Yes,
Now, when did you notice that, before or after you picked him up?
after.
And when you walked into the house and you saw the dog just sitting in the living room, were you annoyed that the dog was out of the cage?
Annoyed?
Yeah.
No.
You weren't.
Well, I guess a little bit, but I was going out again, and I wanted to put it where it's supposed to be.
Now, you took the dog to the vet,
Yes.
and the vet told you that the dog's leg was broken and needed surgery.
It needed something more than, say, a cast, yeah. So it's going to be expensive.
So can you tell me why you didn't tell the vet to take care of the dog?
It wasn't my dog. I didn't want to make any decisions on it. Spending a couple $1,000. I
And-
asked him if he could do anything for the dog. Like, he gave the dog some pain medication. And I said, probably the owner will probably come back here. I'm not going to make any decisions or tell you to do anything.
Now, when you brought the dog home, where did you put the dog?
I think I just put him up in his room and closed the door.
Mr. Douglas says that when he came home, the dog came limping down the stairs. Had you opened the door?
No.
How did the dog open the door?
The time that I went to the vet and came back, the other roommate had come home.
And?
Maybe he went up and looked at him and left the door open. I don't know.
When
Or
you
maybe
went-
the dog didn't come down like he said.
Well, you were there.
Yeah,
Well, did the dog come down the stairs or not?
I don't remember.
Mr. Whalen, did the vet indicate to you that the dog should be kept immobile until the decision was made about what was going to happen with the leg?
He said it was a pretty severe fracture.
Did he say that the dog should be kept immobile?
I don't remember hearing him say that, no.
Do you think it was a good idea, Mr. Whalen, if the dog had a severe fracture, to put the dog back in its cage when you brought it home instead of just putting it in the room so it wouldn't be walking around with this broken leg? Wouldn't that seem like common sense?
Yeah, I guess the dog could have been in the room just lying there, too.
Could have been, but as you said, the dog was untrained. Dogs not as smart as people. You put the dog in the cage, they can't walk around and further aggravate the break. So why didn't you put the dog in the cage?
I don't know, I just didn't put him in there. I put him in his room and I closed the door.
Your claim, Mr. Douglas, is that Mr. Whalen purposefully caused injury to your dog.
Yes.
That's the basis of your claim. If it was merely an unforeseen accident, he would not be responsible.
Right.
So I have to make a judgment as to whether I believe that Mr. Whalen did, in fact, act in such a reckless manner with your dog as to make him responsible for the vet bills. You understand that?
Yes.
I believe he did. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He thinks I broke his dog's leg on purpose because I didn't like it.
He's out of his mind.
His leg's not broken.
Yes, case number 138 on the calendar in the matter of Dent versus Bowen. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, folks. Have seats.
All right, this is a strange little tale. Let me see if I can put it in perspective. Miss Dent, the defendant is your son.
Yes.
According to your complaint, there came a time when he wanted to buy a car. You thought it was a good deal. You paid for the car with the understanding that he would pay you back.
Yes.
At the time that the car was purchased, he did not have a driver's license, and the car was not supposed to be driven. It is your claim he did not pay you for the car. To make a long story a little bit shorter, anyway, there came a time when your son was incarcerated. He says that when he was released from jail, that he delivered by messenger a money order. You have not cashed the money order. In the meantime, he says that you made arrangements for the police to be involved. The police impounded the car. There were impound fees of almost $900. So you're suing him for the cost of the car. He's suing you for the cost of the car, plus the impound fees. Is that pretty much the story?
Pretty much.
Now, when was the car purchased?
It was March 3rd was the day that he called me, and it was indeed a good deal.
How much was the car?
When he called me on the phone, it was $100. When I got there, it had gone up to $150 after I had come back from the bank.
$150?
Right.
Is that what you paid for the car?
No, I paid $120.
Well, could somebody explain to me why then you people have filed a lawsuit? You want $1,500 for this car?
Well, that's the value of the car.
Get that out of your head. You paid $120. That's what he was supposed to pay you back. Is that right?
Right.
Did you pay your mother back?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Show me. Your husband received payment for the car, money order. Why didn't you cash it?
My boyfriend received that. I was
Boyfriend?
Yeah, and I wasn't home at the time.
Do you live there?
Yes.
Why didn't you cash the money order?
Because he didn't make me aware of it. The first I knew that there was a money order there was the day the police showed up to my house when he was claiming auto theft.
You mean you don't speak to your boyfriend?
Well, I work, he goes to school. There are days when we don't have words, yeah.
Well, but now you know about it, so where's the money order?
I have it.
Well, why don't you cash it then? You would have been paid. Now you know that he paid you on time.
Because there's a lot more to the story than that.
Just a minute. One thing at a time. He paid, as a matter of fact, the money order was for $151. So cash the money order and then you've been paid. That was your agreement with him, correct?
Right.
Fine.
He was supposed to pay for that car by April 2nd. It was to stay at my house parked. He had stolen license plates from Mike's Pinto and had put them on this car so he could drive it.
Well, that was terrible.
It was.
You shouldn't have done that.
Your Honor.
You shouldn't have driven the car. You had no license.
That's right.
Right?
Correct.
So, and that breached your agreement with your mother, right?
No, actually, my mother gave me permission to borrow the car.
Listen to me.
I'm sorry.
You have no license. Your mother cannot grant dispensation from state law which says you require a license to drive. So there may be a lot more to it, but bottom line is you lent him money for the car. That's what you were suing him for, not $1,500 because that's not what the car cost. And he's paid you.
So
you got your money back. Cash the money order.
Your Honor.
Now let's get to your counterclaim.
I think it's pertinent to address the issue of this whole reason she kept the car came and took the car from me and kept it. I got out of jail May 30th. The money wasn't originally due until April 2nd. She took the car, knew I didn't get paid until April 1st, took the car because I came forward and confessed that I knew that she asked me to help her plant drugs on my stepfather for a paternity case that she was losing. or felt she was losing.
Excuse me?
There is a custody issue with her and my stepfather
Yes.
over my brother.
How old is your brother?
He is 4 years old now.
Go ahead.
She asked me to help her get a stolen gun originally for her boyfriend, supposedly, that couldn't own a gun. And I said, why would he want a stolen gun? If he gets caught with it, it's even worse. So I said, what are you trying to do? She said, her husband, ex-husband, is winning the case. She feels he's wrongly winning. Help me get something that's a felony so I can get him to lose. And I helped her, and I'm ashamed of that.
How did you help her?
I called a friend that could help her get some drugs. And
What kind of drugs?
methamphetamines.
And what'd you do with them?
They were delivered to her house. She paid for them.
Delivered to her house?
Yes. I called her the next day and said, I feel wrong about this. I can't send him to jail. I've gone to jail for stuff that I didn't do because of you. I don't want him to go to jail for this. And I came forward and told him. And she held the car against me, telling my brother, tell Brandon if he changes a statement in court that this is all a lie, that I didn't really do this, then I'll give your car back. And I haven't done so. And I located my car, went there to have it towed out of her witness's yard because I paid her for the money and extra money. I paid her the $25 she filed on me. She wanted me to repay her that. She told me, change your statement, pay me $150, which is $25 more than you actually owe me because I filed on you. It cost me $25, so pay me that.
Filed on you for what?
For the car.
You mean when she filed in small claims court?
Yeah, she wanted me to pay her that $25 back.
The fee?
Yeah, and I called the tow truck, went to go repossess my car out of the yard after it was paid for. The tow truck guy said that she won't let me on her property. I left, came back like 20 minutes later. The tow truck guy was pulling it out, said Stephanie told me to impound it as soon as I left. So they deliberately, out of spite, had it towed when I was there to remove it like 20 minutes before. This is all because I won't lie and say that she didn't do this.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jeannie Dent says her son, Brandon Bowen, owes for the value of a car. Brandon says his mother asked him to frame her ex-husband.
Where's your $120 car?
It is at my house. I got it out of impound. I don't want the money for the car. I just wanted my car back, and I just wanted.
You have it now.
Yeah, I just wanted to pay for the damages. She kept, the lady that had the car, her witness, kept the key. The impound people had to unlock the door and take the ignition out, and all that has to be replaced. I have estimates how much that's going to cost.
Well, how much is it going to cost?
It's going to cost, just for the locks, not including the ignition, all the locks from Chet's Locksmith is going to be $367.
Forget it. Let me explain something to you. Okay. I'm not giving you, sir, 3 times the cost of the car to put in a new lock.
I don't want the process of the car. I just...
but you understand me? The whole car cost $120.
Yeah.
You think that I'm going to order her to pay $300 and how much? $27 to put in a new lock? Forget it.
Okay.
Bottom line is, you got your money, you got your car.
Correct.
You don't like each other anymore.
I love my mom.
Well, it certainly doesn't sound like it to me. What were you in jail for, Mr. Bowen?
She alleged that I lived with her for a short period of time, and I was $50 short of paying half of her rent. She told me her new boyfriend doesn't like me. I had to leave because she had a doctor's appointment. I climbed back through my bedroom window. She came home and called the police, and her and my sister made up a story that we stole a bunch of stuff, which is not true, and I went to jail.
Just a minute. What did you go back to jail for recently in March?
That was to serve the last 4 days of the sentence for climbing through her window.
Were you the complainant on that case?
Yes, I was. He broke into my home.
I was living there at
Which
the
is
time.
just one of many things that have happened.
Why do you think that you would be entitled to $1,500?
Because that new contract was signed after constant badgering. He was calling my work, and every time that I would hang up on him, and he'd call back, he would hang up on my boss. My job was at risk. My boss said, this has got to stop.
That's not true.
And, it was creating a problem for me. He was calling my house. I'd get 7 phone calls,
Child,
5 are hang-ups.
He's your child. He's your child.
Yeah.
And if you bought him a car for $120, and that's what all this fuss is about.
He's my child who's broken into my home, who's stolen money from me.
I don't understand it. Do you have drugs delivered to your house?
No, I did not. And I have a couple statements here. He wrote a statement first and says that the person I'm in this battle with, first he writes a statement and says that this person, Richard, is coercing him to write a statement in lieu of furniture. And he comes to me and tells me that, and I said, well, then maybe you should write that down. So he did, and I have that with me. Then he goes to Richard, the other person, and writes the statement. A couple days later, he's got furniture. Then he comes back and writes another statement and says, well, that was not true, and I recant all that, which I have also.
Sounds like you shouldn't get your child involved in your own domestic court situations, especially when the child is an adult child and doesn't have anything to do with the custody battle that you're currently involved in. Neither you or his stepfather should do that. In any event,
Right.
you got your money, you got your car, goodbye, good luck, be well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Happy life.
He's a drug addict.
I can't believe that someone that was supposed to be my mother would actually sit here and do this and say things like this.
Enough is enough.
Jason Kamna is suing former friend, 21-year-old cook Nicholas Seaman. Jason claims Nicholas took his car without permission and was arrested for driving under the influence.
Mr. Kamna, you and the defendant were friends, according to your complaint. One evening, he came to your house with his girlfriend. You say he got quite drunk. His girlfriend left. You let him sleep on the couch. You woke up the next morning, found him gone with your car. You got a call sometime later from him indicating he had been pulled over, was charged with driving while under the influence of alcohol, spent the night in jail. Car got a little trashed. Your car was now in the impound. You want from him the money that was spent to get the car out of impound, to clean up from where he threw up all over the car, to fix the damage that he caused when he crashed into something, etc. You want all the money that you spent as a result of him taking the car. The defendant says that he had permission to take your car. And as a matter of fact, you asked him to take your car. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Because you were hungry at 2 o'clock in the morning. He took your car, and it's all your fault because the car did not have updated tags. So the car was pulled over. As a result of that, he was arrested because in addition to your car not having tags, you also caused him to be intoxicated. You caused him to throw up in front of the officer all over your car. You did that too, right?
Correct.
And therefore, it is not his fault, and he shouldn't have to pay anything.
Right. I should burden the expense.
That's his position. Convince me.
Okay, Your Honor. I figure for the last 3 to 4 months...
Let's start with, I got to his house with my girlfriend.
All right, well, I got to his house probably around 10:30, and I probably had, over the whole night, probably about 6 beers.
After the 5th one, who remembers? Yes, go ahead.
I still knew perfectly clear what I was doing. I went to Taco Bell because he asked me to go to Taco Bell. We were kind of hungry. After you have a few beers, you do get kind of hungry.
Just a second. Your girlfriend left.
She had already left. She left about 11:30.
Is this your girlfriend?
Yes, it is. Marina.
Perfect. Step up here for a second. How old are you?
18.
Was it your intention to spend your evening with your boyfriend?
Yes.
Did you leave him at Mr. Kamma's house because he had gotten a little intoxicated?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Why did you leave him at the house?
It was getting late, and I wanted to go home. It was about 11:30, 12 o'clock when I left.
Right.
Nicholas had not been drinking yet. Jason, by the time we had got there at 10:30.
Just a second. If you wanted to go home, why didn't your boyfriend drive you home at midnight?
He was going to stay with Jason.
Was that the plan, or was that the plan once you got there?
No, that was the plan. He was going to stay at Jason's house that night.
Okay, and he hadn't been drinking at all?
No.
Go ahead.
And by the time that we had gotten to the house, Jason had already had alcohol in him.
So Jason was drunk?
Yes, and the reason why I left at 11:30 is to go home because it was getting late, and Jason was being rude to me because he was drinking. And I didn't want to put up with it, so I left to go home.
Jason was being rude to you?
Yes.
Was he being rude to you in front of your boyfriend?
Yes, he always has.
Does it quite.
Go ahead.
He does it quite frequently, Your Honor, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Then why would you put your girlfriend in a position of going to his house for even a minute while Jason was drunk and being rude to your girlfriend?
Your Honor,
I'm not asking you a thing.
Well, honestly, I've been really, really good friends with him throughout the past year and a half.
Wonderful. And how long has she been your girlfriend?
5.5, 6 years, off and on.
And he was being rude to her that evening?
Yes.
Did you hear him being rude to your girlfriend?
Yes.
And what you do is you say, I'm going home with my girlfriend. You couldn't drive, is that right? You have no license.
That's right.
Is
Your
that
Honor.
right? And that's a result of driving while under the influence of alcohol?
The reason I had my license suspended was because I had too many tickets. And
Tickets
actually,
for what?
for speeding. And I was just...
I'm not finished. So your girlfriend was doing the driving. You bring your girlfriend over for an evening at Jason's house. He's drunk. He's rude to your girlfriend. So you let her go home at midnight and you stay. According to your answer, sir, it was 2 o'clock in the morning when you got hungry. Is that right?
About 1:30, 1:45. It was 2
So
o'clock when we got pulled over.
I'm speaking. And according to your girlfriend, you had had nothing to drink before she left. Is
That's
that right? So in the span of approximately, according to you, an hour and a half, you consumed 6 beers.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
That's a lot of beers in an hour and a half.
That's true.
So you were pretty drunk.
Yeah. When I
Now-
was pulled over, I was. At the time, when I left the house, I could still walk perfectly straight line.
Okay, so you get pulled over, and you ask for your license. You got a suspended license. There were no tags on the car. Tell me about what happened when you threw up in the car. I
Well,
want to hear all about that.
I figured it was probably just my nerves. I
Tell
was
me about
really,
it.
really
The police
nervous.
officer pulls you over.
When the police officer pulled me over, he comes to the window and he asked me whose car this was. I told him it was my friend Jason Kamnas. And I said it wasn't even 2 blocks away from the house where I got pulled over. When I left Jason's house, there was a cop parked right in the
I
front.
don't care. I want to know when you threw up in the car.
Okay. After he came, he took down all my information and went back to his car. He was going to write out a ticket. He had a ticket in his hand for driving while suspended, and the uninsured, which I have right here,
I don't need
with
it.
no tags.
I don't need it.
And when he comes back is when I really started getting nervous, and I did get sick.
In the car.
In the car.
That's
So
when he placed you under arrest.
That is when he placed me under arrest. I asked him to
Perfect.
place
You
me
have
under arrest.
all the estimates?
With me, I have the
Well, I only
towing.
want to know what's with you, sir. That's
Yes,
your
I've
proof.
had an estimate given.
What was the damage on the car?
The damage occurred to the driver's side front and on my parents' house where the car was parked. When you back down the driveway, you need to back down at an angle kind of, and if you crank the wheel too hard, the front end will hit the garage. And it hit the garage and took a chunk out of the 2x6 that surrounds the garage and put a nice little dent in the front.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I remember this whole night clearly. And every single thing I said to the officer, everything I did the whole night, and I do not remember hitting that garage once.
That's too bad.
I don't know where this came from.
That's too bad.
And the dent in the left front bumper, he ran into his brother's car
What?
about a month ago on the right rear side, and he did not remember running into the car either. That's what he told his brother.
Why weren't there tags on the car?
Because I couldn't pass the Department of Environmental Quality.
What kind of car is this?
It's an 83 Dodge Rampage,
Uh-huh.
and basically it was negligence on my
Just a
part
second.
not having...
What's $575 from
This
rental
resulted after the car, I got it out of impound, and when I got in it to drive it, there's puke everywhere, and there was a knock in the motor, and then the motor seized up. I don't know if that's because when the car was sitting there idling, it tends to get really hot, and if it wasn't shut off, it could do some damage.
I'm not paying for a rental car for you, sir. What other damages did you have?
I had my towing fees, and
I have
missed
your towing
6
fees?
6 days of work
6 days of work. Why?
because I had no car.
You had no car anyway. They had expired tags.
Well, all I needed was a temporary permit.
You didn't have it.
Correct.
So you had no car anyway.
Well, I guess technically no.
Right. So if the car isn't registered, you have no car. You have to be responsible. You drive a car, it has to be registered, it has to have proper insurance, but that doesn't mean he can trash your car and say it's not his fault because it didn't have good tags. He was drunk when he took it. He shouldn't have gotten behind the wheel of the car while he was intoxicated. He's got to pay for certain basic fees. If you had had the car cleaned and detailed, I would have charged him for that too.
Your Honor, I offered to clean the car first thing the day I got out of jail. I apologize for everything. We went there to go get the car out of the impound, and we got almost completely there, and we had to turn around because his license was expired. And
So you
I
got
don't
in the
think
car
he had
anyway.
insurance, too.
Who was driving?
Me.
She was.
I had just taken, we were just getting ready to take Jason to the impound so he could get his car out, and he said, wait, I cannot go. I don't have insurance and I have an expired license.
So he had no car anyway. So who cares whether he rented it? How did they rent you a car?
Well, the fact of the matter is I did have insurance. And a
How did
valid
they
driver.
rent you a car if you had an expired license?
It was not expired.
What was it?
It was valid. It was a valid Oregon driver's license.
Your Honor, he stated clearly to me that it was not it was already expired.
And that he had no insurance.
Well, in order to rent a car in the state of Oregon, you have to have all the proper
I would say so. That's really interesting.
insurance.
That's really interesting that he was able to rent a car. Who knows? In any event, he owes you $243.50. Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, he said it was my fault because the tags were expired.
I hadn't been driving reckless. The only reason I got pulled over was because expired.
Patricia Franchini,
and her husband, Giovanni Nunez, are suing their neighbor, Scott Elam, for the cost of a baby macaw bird.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
Hello, Kevin.
Case 2194, Franchini Nunez versus Ellen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Nunez,
Yes.
your husband?
Yes, ma'am.
You and Mr. Allen?
Elam, Your Honor.
Elam are neighbors.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have backyards that are joined, separated only by a fence.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of fence?
It looks plastic. I'm not sure.
Who has a picture of the fence? And you each have, as would happen, dogs, same breed.
No, ma'am.
What do you have?
I have a Shetland sheepdog and a Dutch shepherd, ma'am.
And what do you have?
I have shepherd mixes.
How many dogs?
2, Your Honor.
And you have 2?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what the case is about. This is the fence. It's not a chain link fence. It's either a wooden or a plastic fence. And you can see that underneath this fence, there's a board here where I assume there's a hole because the dogs dig holes to get to each other. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Case is about an incident that occurred. You've been neighbors for a while, and you have had this dog digging also for a while. Also correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant's.
Okay. This incident happened on the 16th of December, 2022.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
I got up that morning to let my dogs out.
Both?
One dog. Okay, so the day started out, me and my husband woke up. My husband had to go get a tire fix, so he took my smallest dog, my Shetland sheepdog, with him. I remained home with my 2 children.
Slowly. Okay.
Sorry.
How old are your kids?
They are 6 and 7, ma'am.
Okay.
I remained home with my children because they were ill, and I had an appointment with them later on that day. My husband went to go fix the tire at 8 a.m. I got up in the morning to let my dog out.
Got up in the morning to let your dog out?
Yes.
The shepherd mix?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I let her out, and then she came back in, and I was cleaning, and my 2 children were in my master suite with my macaw, Penelope.
Okay. That's what the case about. This case is about a macaw.
Yes,
the
ma'am.
cost of a macaw.
Yes.
Which is a bird.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
My kids were in the master suite. I opened the door. I'm out there cleaning. I let my dog out of my...
And the dog came back?
Sliding door. She came back. Well, then she stayed by the door. Now, none of my windows have curtains, so I can...
Just a second. But she stayed by the door, but she was inside?
She came back inside. I shut the door. This was 20 minutes went by. She's by the door. She's crying. I told her we would play later. I assumed she had to go to the restroom again, and I let her out again. She stood on the step, but she didn't go further than that, and she was just kind of staring out. From the left side of the house is where the defendant's dog, Bella, charged in my home. And then when I tried to grab her...
When you say his dog, Bella,
yes,
came into the side and ran into the house, that doesn't... Somehow, if the dog, Bella, came out and your dog was on the step, it would seem to me would stop on the step at first to sniff, play with your dog if your dog is sitting outside. I mean, I have dogs. Would go over to that dog first, not run into your house.
You would think that, ma'am, but she's been in our house 3 times before this because I had to return her to the defendant on 3 separate occasions. And she didn't do that day. When she came in the backyard on the 3 other instances, I remember the very first time someone from that household came to my door, and I knew the dog was in my backyard, but I didn't open my door. I left her back there. I figured they'd come. They did. And I said, hold on a second. I put my kids, I put my Sheltie in the room with my bird, and I shut the door.
Are we talking about the same date,
ma'am.
December?
We're talking about other days that I brought.
Okay, let's not go on tributaries.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your dog's name?
Lucy.
Lucy. So the dog just went straight into your house. And what did Lucy do?
Lucy charged after her and tried to attack her.
Okay, so the dog has been in your house before. Have there been incidents with the 2 dogs?
No, ma'am. The defendant's dog is submissive to my dog. So the only time I brought the dog in my home was when I shut all the doors to all my bedrooms. Someone from the defendant's home came. I opened up the front door, brought her in, and she went straight out because there was nowhere else for her to go.
Okay, so it's your dog that is Lucy is the more aggressive dog.
Lucy's never been aggressive with her. I believe that Lucy was aggressive with her that day because of the way she came in the house.
When you say Lucy was aggressive, what did she do?
She started growling at her, and she started...
In the house?
Yes.
Now they're in the house. Put a period there. We have the 2 dogs in your house.
Yes.
And they are growling at each other. So that's not a happy picture because they're big dogs.
Yes.
Now let's get to the bird. You purchased a macaw.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a photograph of what they look like?
Yes.
When did you purchase the macaw?
I purchased her with payments over time. I completed the purchase at the end of September 30th.
This is the macaw.
Yes, ma'am. That's my
A parrot.
Yes, ma'am.
In December, how old was she?
She was going to be 8 months.
And how much did you pay for her?
I paid $4,320.08 for Penelope.
Okay, can I see the bill?
Absolutely, ma'am. Her birth certificate along
She's
with
beautiful.
all of the...
Pretty bird.
Thank you, ma'am. She bolted in my master suite where my kids were.
Lucy?
No, Bella.
Bella.
Bella did. And I went in there like I heard my kids screaming, Bella is killing Penelope.
And later today.
Is there something wrong with your mind?
No.
Did you just say to me, am I crazy? Did he say he owed back child support?
Yes.
To her?
Tricia Franchini claims her neighbor, Scott Elam, owes for the cost of a baby macaw bird killed by Scott's dog.
Tell me what got you interested in the macaw.
Earlier this year, full disclosure, ma'am, ended up in the hospital very sick for 2 weeks, and I was going through a lot, and I started volunteering at the bird store down by my home, and I really liked the Hans macaw because my grandma had one when she was younger.
Slowly.
Yes, ma'am. And so I spent a lot of time bonding with the birds there, and my husband and I thought it would be good and therapeutic for me, given what I had been going through.
Okay, now the two dogs are in your house, sort of fighting with each other.
They did not fight, ma'am. I did not allow them to.
Growling.
Yes, ma'am.
Growling at each other. And tell me what happened with Bella and the macaw.
I tried to calm Lucy down, and my master door was open. Everything was happening so fast. I know I'm describing it slowly, but it was quick. She bolted in my master suite where my kids were.
Lucy?
No, Bella.
Bella.
Bella did. I heard my kids screaming, Bella is killing Penelope. And
that's the bird?
Yes. And I tried to get to Bella. I couldn't. My dog was standing in between us. And while I was with the two dogs, then my son thought, oh, I'm going to go get her. And that's when Bella kind of snapped at him and she scratched him. And so then I couldn't get her. I couldn't. She literally was like chewing her up and like dropping her and like biting her again, you know? And it wasn't until my Dutch Shepherd bit her on the nose that she finally let her go. And I swooped and I grabbed her. I booked it to my pantry in my kitchen with my kids. And Lucy stayed in front of the door. And I have a door on it. And I just stayed in there. And I called my husband and I was screaming on the phone. He got home maybe, I don't know how long. It probably really only was like 5 or 10 minutes, but it felt like forever. She was like
and where was
in my
Bella
arms.
during this time?
Bella was around the pantry with the bird in her mouth. And then I took the bird from Bella and then I put her to the cage. And then Lucy just stayed by the parrot. And then I opened the door and talked to the kids. They were all hysterical and I was trying to understand what she was saying.
Where was Bella?
Bella was in the kitchen with a parrot.
And how did Bella get back to the defendant?
I walked her over.
How did you do that?
Kind of like how a mother pup grabs her by the neck. I grabbed her by the neck and I walked her over.
Okay, your dog killed their bird in their house. And?
Your Honor, the hole that allowed Bella to get into their backyard was primarily dug by their dog over the course of many, many months.
And?
I continued to repair my side of the fence. Their dog continued to dig the hole, destroyed wood that I had put there. The dog got through. In that story, it's sad, but that's not the story that he gave to my wife when he came pounding on my door.
Well, you can't tell me what he said to your wife, sir.
Okay, that's fair, Your Honor. I can tell you what he said to me. I called him.
You can tell me what he said to you.
Instantly?
Just you have to understand, he wasn't home when your dog got into the house. He came home at the end of the episode. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
Okay. Understanding that, you can tell me your version of what he said to you.
What they both said to me. I've had conversations with the both of them since this has happened.
Okay.
The story has changed 2 or 3 times. First, it was she was doing something in the backyard and Bella just came charging in and basically knocked her out of the way, got inside. The first story was, I assumed the entire time that he was home, because when he was talking to me over the phone...
I don't care what you assumed. He wasn't home when it started. Your problem, sir, is, first of all, you were aware of the hole. I don't care who dug it. You were aware of it. And it's not the first time that the dog has gone onto their property. Has their dog got onto your property?
No, because I fixed my side of it. I take care
So
of
the
my
answer is no.
Correct.
Who do you live in your house with?
My wife and my children.
How old are your children?
I have a 1-year-old. I have a 7-year-old.
Let us say it's their fault that the hole existed that allowed your dog to get out. But you were aware of it because it had happened before that they had to bring your dog back. That a fair statement?
That's fair, yes.
Okay. Let us assume that it was your dog that was responsible for the hole. And their dog, despite the fact that yours was a better digger, you know, having dogs and having a fence, they both dig at the same place. They may not have fixed their side, but they both dig at the same place trying to get to each other. Whose fault do you think it would be if their dog created the major part of the hole, got into your yard, and bit your 1-year-old? Whose fault would that be?
I think it would be equally our faults.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Really?
For digging, for not taking care of your property, absolutely.
Really? I actually find that answer sort of bizarre.
I would take responsibility if my child got hurt due to something that I didn't take care of. Absolutely, I would.
Well, you may feel guilty about it, but you would certainly want them to pay all of your child's medical bills.
No, I would not.
Well, then you're a better person than the law is, sir, because your dog was outside of your control, clearly, because it got into their house. It was something that you were aware was a possibility, no matter who dug the hole, so you were aware because it had happened before, and your dog caused damage. And the damage your dog caused, and I'm putting the emotional distress, these 2 young children and the plaintiff, seeing your dog kill this bird that they had been paying off so much per month for a very long time. Putting aside that, they paid $4,300 for this property that your dog destroyed. And that's your fault. You're responsible for that. So if because of this problem and your dog has a problem and their dog has not come onto your property, but your dog comes onto their property, then you have to say, you know what? I'm not letting my dog go out unsupervised because it has created trouble in the past. May have been their fault because they didn't fill in the hole as quickly or as carefully as you did. But you knew that that happened, and you're responsible for the damage. It would be no different than if the dog ran inside, and as she was trying to get the dog bit her, and she had to have surgery, and she had to have a plastic surgeon deal with reconstruction. Who do you think would be responsible for that? That would be you. And just because it's a poor little bird that happened to be the victim of this doesn't make you any less responsible. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,300. We're finished.
Court is adjourned.
I feel like it was justice for Penelope.
When a homeowner doesn't take care of their property and someone lets another dog in their house, they shouldn't be blaming other people for that.
It was extremely difficult to hear my kids screaming like that and do nothing to calm them down.
The judge's ruling is the judge's ruling.
I hope that he never gets another pet again.
I don't think there's gonna ever be a relationship, which is totally fine by me.
One of the most interesting things about that case is I don't think that the defendant's dog, Bella, was a quote-unquote aggressive dog. But I didn't get a hint that the other dog was even aggressive. Even by the fact that the husband was able to walk her back by the scruff of the neck. If that was an aggressive dog, they would just turn right around and give you a nice little snap. So that says to me that although the dog didn't obviously do it on purpose, what are you going to do? But you're responsible as a defendant. You let your dog out. It's a act that's happened more than once. You were on notice.
Dog is out of your control. You're responsible. That's the bottom line.
Previously on Judy Justice.
She wasn't trespassing in your house, madam. She wasn't burglarizing your house. She was bitten by your pit bull. That's what the case is about.
She was told not to go into my house.
If I believe you. Now I'm going to look at your video.
She even said it was her fault.
It wasn't her fault. It was your fault. You had the dangerous animal.
How is it my fault? I told her not to go in my house.
Don't ask me any questions, madam.
And now, the conclusion. Mila Bazin is suing her former employer, Sarah Adams, for lost wages and pain and suffering after being bit by Sarah's pit bull.
Okay, my issue actually is, in addition to everything else, why would a seemingly smart woman have a dog that she would have to warn people about to come to her front door? Why? I say to myself, why? I don't understand that. And when I was preparing for this case today, looking at the complaint and looking at the answer, I can do a little multitasking. I was reading the newspaper. This is today. A 7-year-old Louisiana girl was mauled to death by a neighbor's pit bull after it ran into her family yard. The name of the person is here. A child was playing outside her East Baton Rouge Parish home Friday when the dog barreled onto the property and viciously attacked her. Family member tried to stop the dog by hitting it with a walking cane, but the animal couldn't be deterred. First grader suffered multiple bites to her face and severe skull damage. She died. The dog was euthanized. The dog's owner told the officers he wasn't home during the attack and regularly lets the dog roam the neighborhood. He was charged Saturday with homicide.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. I would go right from charge to execution.
Your Honor, I also have proof that another lady down the street was bitten by...
I'm going to get to you. I'm not finished. Okay. I'm not finished. I don't understand. I have others. Because it looks like you look like dog-sitting mom killed by pit bulls. North Carolina woman was mauled to death by 2 pit bulls she was dog-sitting for after the mother warned her to stop watching the animals, according to reports. That's all. Husband came home, found her in the backyard being eaten by 2 pit bulls that she was watching for her son. I don't understand. I have more, but I won't bore you with more. So I don't understand why intelligent people have a dog that they know is capable of killing somebody, of just turning and killing somebody. I don't understand it. I think, insurance companies can legally discriminate against people who have pit bulls by saying, we're not going to insure you. And there's a reason for that.
But, Your Honor, I told her before she left not to go in my house. My dog was not outside. My dog was in my home, protecting my family.
I want you to look at the video again. And unless your daughter is a moron and can't follow your instructions, she did not say to her, wait outside.
I understand that.
Just a second. She saw her. She was in charge of your home that day. She permitted her to come in and put the drink down. She did that. You want to watch the video again, or do you acknowledge it?
I don't need to watch
So
the
you
video
acknowledge it. So I don't care what you said to her. When she got there, the circumstances were such that your daughter, who is taller than you are, was very happy to have her come in instead of saying, you're not allowed to come into my house because we have this vicious dog.
She's not vicious.
Oh, yes, a dog that bites somebody that's coming in
She was protecting my children in my home.
Just a second. I understand what you're saying, and I'm saying to you that she came in with your daughter within inches from her. And your daughter, when she opened the door, didn't you see the dog?
No, I didn't realize.
What? You didn't realize?
No, it happened so fast. When I entered the door, I then realized, so I came back to rush to stop Mila, but she already got bit. It was too late. So it is my fault.
Right! It's not your fault. I love that. It's too bad that you can't teach that to your mother. It's really too bad you can't teach your mother to say, it's my fault. I have a dog that can be vicious. And so far, the dog has not been vicious to my children. I hope for your sake and your brother's sake that one day the dog doesn't get annoyed with one of your brothers. I just hope. I mean, this lady was about your size, the one that was killed by the 2 pit bulls. An older lady. So I'm hoping your mother chooses to have that instead of double locks taking care of her children. Great. But then she has to pay the consequences. I mean, I have to tell you, I'm old. I'm very old. I'm probably the oldest person that you know. I have never read one article where a Shih Tzu killed a person. That's why I have Shih Tzus. You have Chihuahuas? Yeah. I've never heard about a Chihuahua killing a person. Ever.
Mila Bazin claims her former employer, Sarah Adams, owes for injuries after being bit by Sarah's dog. Sarah says Maya accepted a $300 settlement from the incident.
Now, may I see the note that you had from a previous neighbor?
Yeah, so this is a text message from Sarah to me stating that the neighbor down the street...
No, I can read.
Okay.
Nobody can state to you. Okay. What was the name of the other woman that got bit by your dog?
Your Honor, it was my neighbor, and
Just a second. I asked you for a name. Did she get bitten anywhere around this time?
No.
What year?
It was 2020, and it was a dog fight that me and her were both trying to break up.
Just a second. It was 2020.
2021, excuse me.
Okay.
She was my neighbor.
Just a second. So a year before, when in 2021? Give me a month.
I don't remember.
Summer, fall, winter,
Fall.
spring?
It was fall.
So you're talking about September or October?
Somewhere around there, yes.
Was she treated for the dog bite?
No, Your Honor, it was not severe.
The answer is no. She was not treated for her dog bite. Not seen by anybody.
Correct.
Okay, can I see photographs of the dog bite, please?
And I also have the first initial appearance that I went to the hospital.
Now you can step back up. I have another question for you. Now you were there. I heard you say from inside, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, at least twice. Now, after this happened, what did the plaintiff do?
Called me.
No. After this happened, just you and your two younger brothers were home. What did the plaintiff do? She was sitting outside on the porch.
We came and gave her some towels.
Who's we?
My brother.
So you got some towels. I saw she asked you for some towels.
Mm-hmm. And then we tried to give her some Band-Aids.
Put the paper down. You're annoying me.
She said, just let me come in. So I put away the dog.
She said what?
Just let me come in. So I put away the dog, and I put her, she was in my mom's bathroom, and we were finding Band-Aids and rinsing it off.
And then I didn't ask you a question. Now she's in your mother's bathroom. She's trying to clean it up, and you put the dogs where?
We have kennels for them, cages.
And kennels?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have kennels for them that you put them in at what time of day? Or when anybody is coming over? When do you use the kennels?
We use them when we leave, or about to leave, or if somebody's coming over that they haven't met.
Okay. Now you knew that the plaintiff was coming over. Your mother had told you the plaintiff was coming over.
Yes.
Okay. And did your mother tell you in that phone conversation, would ordinarily ask, because I know I live with people your age and a little bit older, when is McDonald's going to be here? When is it going to be here? Did you ask your mother that question?
No.
Did she give you any indication about how long it would take?
No.
How did you know when plaintiff arrived?
The car pulled up.
So you were looking outside for the car?
Yes.
Great. And when were you looking outside for the car? You knew the food had arrived.
Yeah.
You went outside.
Yes, I closed the door right behind me.
Of course. You closed the door behind you. You went and got the food. There was extra food. She was clearly following you, and you clearly saw that she was following you into the house.
No.
Well, by the time you got to the front door, you want to see it again? You turned around, you saw that she was there, behind you.
That's when I went in the house. That's
No. Right before. Right before. Play it again, Sam. She's now out of the car. You're calling your brothers. Turn around, you look at her and smile, say nothing. She walks in, so you say nothing to her. Got it? Don't come in here. Don't come in, just leave it outside. You're both smiling. Smiling. You want to see it again? No, you were both smiling when you walked in. Play it again, Sam.
Got it?
Okay, thank you. Got it? Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Ms. Bazine, quite frankly, the only thing that's distressing to me about your complaint is that you're only suing her for $3,500. That's the only thing that is, as far as I'm concerned, you could have just as easily been really seriously injured. And to me, people who will keep an aggressive dog, that's an aggressive dog, at home for whatever reason, especially a breed that has been determined to be a potentially dangerous breed of animal, deserves any consequences. This guy, this 20-year-old idiot, is going to jail. If I was sentencing him, he would go to jail for a very long time as an example. Maybe you have to set examples for people who allow innocent people to get killed because they like a particular breed of dog. I mean, I have to tell you, I'm old. I'm very old. I'm probably the oldest person that you know. I have never read one article where a Shih Tzu killed a person. That's why I have Shih Tzus. I've heard them, they nipped my finger maybe, they ripped my stockings, they ate the furniture leg, but I've never read a piece. You have Chihuahuas, you have Chihuahua. Yeah. I've never heard about a Chihuahua killing a person, ever. Ever. So if you're dumb enough to have a dog, you have to accept the consequences. This guy is going to accept the consequences for his stupidity, for letting his pit bull roam around, by going to jail. And you're going to accept the consequences by paying the exact amount that she's requesting, which is $3,500. Your counterclaim is stupid, and it's dismissed.
Your Honor,
and I'm done with you.
Your Honor, we had an agreement that she signed.
I'm done with you.
We had an agreement that she signed.
I was very high on narcotics and coming under the influence of coming out of the hospital. I do not remember signing this. And if it was for her to make me feel better because of what happened.
I'm sorry, Miss Bazin, that's not going to fly with me.
Defendant Sarah Adams is accusing her former employee, Mila Bazin, of harassment after her dog bit Mila. Mila claims she did not agree to Sarah's $300 settlement.
We had an agreement that she signed. She signed the agreement for $300 and we were done.
Okay, I'd like to see that.
Please. On top of that, the next day she came back into my house to meet the dog that bit her.
I don't care.
What do I care?
What do I care about that? Why would you bring the
bit? She picked at it. I have all this evidence that she picked at it, and that's what it turned into because she didn't take care of it.
I have to tell you, I don't care whether she took care of it or whether it got infected. If I got bitten by somebody's vicious dog, I don't care whether it got infected or not. That's a traumatic event.
The only reason I was suing.
But just a second. But if you signed a release to her,
She did.
That's a different story.
No, I didn't.
She signed that paper.
Don't. Why did you sign this? This is clear. First, Kevin.
Can I see it, please? And when is it dated on?
Well, it says this agreement settles a dog bite that happened on 7/18.
This was signed in October, November.
If you shout out again.
Because I was missing all my money. I was not getting paid. I needed something from her.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean you weren't getting. Here.
Is there a date on this?
And I do have other things that she signed if you need to verify the signature.
I was very high on narcotics and coming under the influence of coming out of the hospital. I do not remember signing this. And if it was for her to make me feel better because of what happened.
I'm sorry, Miss Bazin, that's not going to fly with me.
Well,
that's not going to fly with me. If you accepted the $300,
no, I didn't.
Pay careful attention to what I'm saying before you answer. If you and the defendant in any action can at any time, even without a lawyer, if neither of you have a lawyer, I'm speaking, can settle a claim if they wish to settle a claim before getting the courts involved. That can happen. And that should happen in many instances. I'm not quite sure this one, but it certainly should happen more often than not. You settle for less than you were entitled to. You settled for $300. Did she give you $300?
No, Your Honor.
May I see that document, please?
She did not.
Okay, let's see whether she did.
Referring to a car battery?
No. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I agreed to give Mila $300. Did she give it to you?
No.
Show me that you gave it to her. And when?
I gave her cash. It's on camera at work. I handed her at work with my boss there. My boss, you can call him right now.
I'm not calling your
boss.
Listen to me. I'm not calling your boss. That's your problem to prove it.
I also helped her when her car broke down.
I don't care.
I paid for a battery.
I don't care.
I paid for
Listen
lift
to me.
rides for her.
I don't
Your dog
care.
bit me.
Shh. I don't care. All I want to see is proof that you handed her.
I gave her cash.
$300.
I don't have proof because I gave her cash.
Well, that's a problem for you. Did she give you cash?
Your Honor, no.
No,
She
just
helped me out with a car battery, and then she accumulated.
Just a second. It doesn't say that you gave her $300.
Your Honor, she's lying.
It says I agreed to give her.
She's lying. I handed her $300 and made her and had her sign that at work. We did it at work. She's lying.
How she threatens
Well,
me.
then I'm going to give this to you. She says you didn't give her the $300. You have no proof that you gave her the $300. You have no proof.
I don't.
You don't have any proof. $3,500. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I feel like if it would have been a Shih Tzu that bit her and did that damage, I feel like the judge would have gone in my favor.
And I knew I would get justice coming here for pit bulls. She takes care of the community. I'm so glad that happened that way.
I had a lot of evidence, and the reason why her bite turned into what it looks like now is because she didn't take care of it. She picked at it.
I was happy to bring the kids food. I'm that type of person.
Because I have documentation of her picking at it. She went to the hospital 4 different occasions.
It's pretty traumatizing.
I know she was fine because I have text messages that prove that she was fine.
And all of a sudden, the dog just got me.
That it was her fault. She knew better than to go in the house.
Right when I walked in, the dog lynched and grabbed my leg.
I walked in, and then I realized there was a voice behind me. I went back and saw that Milo was back, and she got bit by that time, so I went to go help her.
Locked its jaw. The burnt tooth went really far down deep. Me and the baby girl both had to hit the dog to get him off of me.
I picked up the dog, and I put her in her kennel.
Very terrifying. I still have PTSD, and even watching that video was shocking.
She was constantly complaining about the dog bite to myself, my boss, slandering me every chance that she got.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And I said, Milo, look, this needs to be settled once and for all.
Bullied me and put me in a position, cornered me, and made me do what she wanted to do. She was my boss, so whatever she said, I had to do.
What do you want? She said, give me $300 and I'll sign something saying we're done. So that's what I did.
I don't know. Some people are different.
So I just wanted to point out a distinction in the articles that you brought in. I know you've been hearing these pit bull cases for decades, and so I understand your outrage every time you see one. But the distinction in the news articles that you brought in today as examples, as well as this case, there's a couple key differences. One, the main one being, in the newspaper articles, the dogs were outside the home, outside the control. And in this case, the defendant wanted to make it especially known that the dog never left her home. However, from a legal standpoint, it's a more egregious charge if you allow your dangerous animal out and about in society without any sort of warning. However, just because it's inside your home doesn't absolve you from that responsibility. The plaintiff was still an invitee into the home. Like you had said, the daughter had every opportunity from the street all the way up the sidewalk, all the way onto the porch, and even into the screen door that you can see on the video opened up. Never once said, oh, just wait outside. Even with my own dogs. Or leave the food on the porch. Even with my own dogs, golden retrievers, sometimes I never know if they're going to be overexcited. I say, just hang on 1 second out here. Let me make sure they're good. And I make sure they're happy, whatever. And then I say, come on in. So she had every opportunity to do that, and she didn't. So like you had mentioned to her, it's not like the plaintiff was a trespasser or trying to steal or trying to harm her children. And you're still responsible for your dangerous animals, even if they're inside your home.
Yeah.
So just think that's a word to the wise, that it's not just when they're outside your control that you can be held liable.
I thought it was also interesting, now that I think about it and listen to what you're saying, usually when you have a dog that you know is dangerous, because let us assume that I believed her when she said, I said don't go into the house, which I don't believe her. You usually have a sign if you live in a private house and you're using the dog for protection, to have a sign, dangerous dog.
Beware of dog.
Beware of dog, because somebody may come and deliver a package, open your screen door. You never know when something can happen. So you at least give the public notice that there is potentially a vicious animal inside. You're absolutely right.
Selena Brown and Trayon Dupree are suing their customer, Brianna Freeman, for rental car damage and lost wages.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Hello, Judge. Case 2174, Brown Dupree versus Freeman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, who's the business person?
It's us.
That would be you?
Yes.
Your name is Mr. Dupree.
Mr. Dupree.
You a couple?
No, ma'am. It's business partners.
In what business?
Car rental.
How do you know each other?
We met from military.
So you're not a couple, you're just in business together. I just want to know, don't both smile. I just want to know. Let's go.
We're friends.
Yeah, we're friends. We're friends.
What? This is not going to happen for me.
We're not a couple, you know, we're friends, you know, and we decided to go in business together.
Where do you live?
Houston, Texas.
Where does she live?
Houston,
Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Does she live in the same place that you do?
In the same home?
In the same place, building?
Oh, no, we don't.
Who do you live with?
Myself.
Who does she live with?
Herself.
When did you meet in the military?
2021. Not really sure exactly what month. But...
Now, if you're in business together, is the only business you had this one car that
Yes, we was just starting.
What kind of work do you do?
Crane operation.
Full time?
Yes.
And what about you?
I work at a call center.
So that's your primary source of income?
That's correct.
Yes.
And you decided to do this car rental as sort of a side gig?
Yes.
We had just got out the military, so we didn't have a job then. So we did it for a primary source of income.
Well, you can't have one car that you rent as a primary source of income.
We have our military disability check as well, so we have that. And we
How long were you in the military?
Almost 9 years.
And you?
8.
Where did you serve?
Norfolk, Virginia, and Mayport, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
So you were never out of the United States?
Yes, I went overseas for deployments, but never stationed.
But where did you go on your deployment?
Bahrain, Dubai, Greece, Italy, and all over.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, good. Yeah. What about you?
Only Virginia.
Only Virginia?
Only Virginia.
How did you become disabled in Virginia?
I have no idea.
I mean, you said you're on a military disability, so, you know, I could understand if you deployed someplace else.
I have no idea.
You have no idea what?
Why, I guess, became disabled. Just mentally, I guess. Mental.
Well, you applied for a disability from the Army.
You said what?
What?
I said mentally.
Just my own curiosity. I have to see how this is going. How much is your disability benefit from the Army?
$2,000.
A month? It's not an answer. Yes is an answer. What about you?
The same.
And is your disability mental or physical?
Both.
Well, your physical disability doesn't inhibit you from being a crane operator.
No, not really.
Great. I love America. Okay, so now you're out, you're both on disability from the Army. You don't have a job yet, so you decide to buy a Mercedes.
That's correct.
What year Mercedes?
2014.
And how much was it?
$22,000.
Is there a note on the car?
Yes.
For how much?
$350.
Per month?
Yes.
How much of a loan did you take out?
23, one of them. It's not too much.
Car was only 22.
The car was 22.
I don't know the exact number that the car is right now, but it was between 21 and 23,000 that we owed on it. And I took the loan out.
Where is the car now?
In Texas.
With whom?
She has it right now.
What was the rental agreement that you had with Miss Freeman? You didn't form a business corporation or anything else, am I correct?
Yes, we have an LLC.
And the sole asset is this car?
Yes.
You bought the car when? Give me the date again.
I think it was in July.
July of 2022?
That's correct.
And when did you rent the car to the defendant?
August 27th.
Do you have the rental agreement?
I don't have the original agreement because it was in my car that was stolen, but I made her take a picture with her driver's license and send it to me. So this is a copy, and this is before she signed it.
And I have after I signed.
It's literally the same thing.
Yes.
And so you know
let her talk.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is take a look at this, Ms. Freeman, and tell me if you have it. It's the same.
Yes,
what she
ma'am.
had. Okay. And this is the entire agreement. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Selena Brown and Trayon Dupree claim their customer, Brianna Freeman, owes for damages to their Mercedes rental car. Brianna is countersuing for lost wages.
So there's nothing in this agreement that prevents her from allowing somebody else to use the car, and the agreement specifically says that if anything happens to the car, she is responsible to use her insurance, and you have a policy number, your policy number for insurance. Okay, so your boyfriend was driving the car on what date?
The 1st.
1st of what?
September. And I have the accident report if you want that.
Not yet, I may. Not yet, but there was an accident and the car was damaged.
Correct.
Anybody have a photograph of the damage to the car?
I have it on my phone if you'd like to see that.
I would.
While we're waiting, Your Honor, I found the LLC filing that lists both of them as the
principals.
As the principals, but they list the same address for both of them. Their residents are listed as the same.
Oh, really? Interesting. Want to say that a little louder?
I just said I found both of them listed as managing members of the LLC with the same address for both of them listed.
I lived in a different state when we started. I was in Florida.
We don't live together. That's what y'all are saying.
It just lists.
Yeah,
lists
that's just the LLC address.
It's in my boyfriend's phone because the number that's on the contract was his phone at the time. So if you want to see.
I had a picture right here.
And I have multiple pictures as well.
Of the car?
That's correct.
Well, that's what I'm asking you for. I said I want to see pictures of the damage to the car. You were in an accident?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you agreed in this contract that if you were in an accident, Brianna, that would be you,
yes,
will use her insurance if anything happens during the rental. Brianna will be responsible to pay out of pocket.
Correct.
You signed that?
Correct.
Okay, so you were in an accident. I don't care whose fault it is because it doesn't have anything to do with fault. Picture of the car.
It's
another paper picture.
It's a couple pictures, so you can just check as well.
Stand up. Somebody hit you in the rear?
No, in the front.
Oh, this is the front of the car?
They ran a stop sign.
What?
They ran a stop sign. I was coming up. They were coming across.
Well, whatever. You got damage in the front of your car. In my mind, that usually means that you hit somebody.
No, they came across from me. They ran a stop sign in front of me.
And you hit them. Okay, well, that's what it usually means, that you hit somebody in the front. Okay, and that was on September 1st.
Correct.
Did you notify your insurance company?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to see proof of that.
So these are the claims, the quotes they gave me to fix the car. Also, this is when I let her know, Ms. Brown, what was covered under my policy.
I'd like to see it.
So that's that. It shows what's covered in my policy.
Was the car fixed?
Absolutely
not. No.
It was not?
Not at all.
Why not?
Because I didn't talk to Trayon, Mr. Dupree, however you say his name, until the day, September the 5th. All of my business was going through Mrs. Brown. So I don't know if he just found out what happened. But when I called the insurance on the 1st, they let me know that he was the owner of the vehicle. I said, okay. They said they'll have to go through everything through him so that the car can get fixed because I wasn't the title holder. I said, that's fine. I said, okay, due to the fact that the car got wrecked, I let her know that once the car goes to Mercedes-Benz to get fixed, they give a loaner vehicle. I let them know everything that was covered. Why it didn't get fixed? Because she popped up to my home and caused drama. I lost my job behind it, so forth and so on.
What does that have to do with your responsibility? Your boyfriend had an accident with a car. You have a contract that says you're going to fix it.
Because Trayon said it wasn't enough.
What do you mean Trayon said it wasn't enough?
I sent him the quote for their adjusters, and he said that wasn't enough to get it fixed. And I have that text message from Trayon.
Just a second. I'd like to see your quote from your company. Where did you take the car for them to send an adjuster to take a look at the car?
I had to take pictures of the car and upload it to the app they sent me, and that's how they got those quotes.
They have an estimate here of $3,000. Mm-hmm. Did you get an estimate to fix the car?
Yes, we got an estimate.
I'd like to see it.
In person.
In person. That was just the picture, and when I talked...
Okay, got it.
May I interject a little bit? Because Brianna kind of lying, and she raised her right hand. So Brianna didn't notify us that the car was wrecked until September 3rd. She told us that she was in the hospital with her dying father.
Listen to me. I don't care.
She lied about
I don't care.
She lied about how the car got wrecked.
I don't care. It doesn't matter how the car got wrecked. She has an obligation to fix it. She has an obligation to fix it. And to be quite honest with you, this is a Mercedes, and this car can't be fixed for $2,900. Can't. He's absolutely right. This car can't be fixed based upon that damage. And he wasn't prepared to say here.
No, it wasn't that at all. So once, I guess, he got involved in the business, I was talking to Ms. Brown. She said she had a rental the next day or something in that manner. And I said, okay, well, let me find a Mercedes-Benz that can actually get your car in so you can get this loaner car for you to rent your car out. Also, in the midst of that, I was going to pay for the rental that she had that was so much wanting to cancel on her. So I said, okay, Mercedes has a loaner car and can accept your car at the time.
Well, they couldn't fix this car for $2,900.
So that's what they gave me, and they said that if it went to a Mercedes-Benz shop, they will honor that.
I don't know that at all.
That's what they told me.
I don't care.
But regardless of the price of getting the car fixed, I was going to pay because I know that we was at fault for it. Quote unquote, it was my contract that I signed. Okay. That wasn't an issue.
Well, then you can take that up with your insurance company.
Correct. I didn't have a problem with paying.
Yeah, then you can take it up with your insurance company.
Selena Brown and Trayon Dupree have accused their customer, Brianna Freeman, of damaging their Mercedes rental car after her boyfriend was in an accident.
He has an estimate that looks like a pretty legitimate estimate. They bought the car. It's a relatively new car. They paid $22,000 for it. Your boyfriend wrecked it, and he has an estimate which looks reasonable for $8,000 to fix it. And if your insurance company is dragging their heels and not paying what they should, you take that up with your insurance company.
I never got that quote, by the way.
Which quote?
The quote that the $8,000. I never got that.
Well, I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, it's probably be true.
$8,319.
Her insurance denied it because she lied. She lied about how the accident happened. So they denied.
Don't listen to me. You started to say that before. I told you I don't care.
My insurance.
Just a second.
Your insurance what?
Never denied the claim.
I have proof. I talked to him. I have proof. I have the email where he said they denied it because.
They definitely denied it.
Because I told them to stop because she popped up at my house.
Because she lied about the accident. Because we tried to get it through our insurance as well.
I don't know why you're arguing. It doesn't appear, madam, it doesn't appear as if you are losing this case. So I don't know why you feel compelled to make it hostile. I don't understand why.
She's just lying and cost us so much money. Like,
madam, listen to me. We're all told. You okay? Good. Your car is in this condition at whose house? At your house?
That's correct.
And the car, since the accident, which was 4 months ago, has it been rented?
No.
No. Is it drivable?
Yes, it's drivable.
When was the last time you drove it?
Last week.
When was the last time you rented it?
Since Brianna.
Have you been making the payments on the car?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's been making the payments?
Both.
What is the monthly payment?
$350.
$350. You told me that. The insurance up to date?
So we had insurance. We had commercial insurance on it. But when I put in the claim and told them what happened, because we did get lied to about what actually happened, and we didn't get informed of the accident till the 3rd. But when I put in the claim, I put it in how they told us what happened. And my insurance, they found the police report before we did, and they seen what actually happened. So they felt like we was trying to do fraud. So the guy, he told us it's better for us to pull the claim because it's going to look like it's fraud on our part. So they dropped us from the insurance.
So they dropped you after?
Yes.
After the accident?
Yes.
Can I see the police report now? Well, this police report indicates that the other person was at fault.
That was my... Oh, sorry.
Am I wrong about that?
No, ma'am.
No, then don't speak. This police report, did you see it?
Yes. Got it right here.
I'd like to see what you have. This police report clearly says that Unit 1, which was the woman, ran a stop sign. That's what it says. Why would your insurance company drop you?
Because we gave the story that she told us, so it looks like we're doing fraud.
Yeah.
And basically, ignorance isn't an excuse for them. So.
Actually, that's pretty outrageous.
We was told it was a hit and run.
She told us it was a hit and run, so we told them that. She said she was in the hospital when it got hit, and then we found the report. She waited until the day that we had a rental to tell us. We had another rental on the 3rd that afternoon. She told us that morning.
On the 3rd?
That's correct.
And the accident was on the 1st?
That's correct.
Okay. I think you have to get your car fixed. I think that the fact that your insurance company canceled your insurance when it was clear that he was not at fault in this accident, at least according to the police report, is actually pretty outrageous that they canceled your insurance. Is there any insurance on the car now?
Yes, there's regular insurance on it.
Not commercial anymore?
No, not right now because we're not renting it.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $8,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I'm glad we won and everything. I felt like, we deserved more than we got, but at the end of the day, we won the case. I'm not mad at the decision.
I'm fine with it regardless because I know I was trying to get it fixed. It was just a timing issue.
She lied about everything. She literally lied about everything. She pulled out a gun on me.
Lying, I don't have anything to lie about. It's all in my evidence.
Like, she told me to come basically get the car and the keys in the mailbox. And when I went over there to get it, she pulled a gun out on me because I took my wig off.
She posted stuff saying I lied about things. I pulled my gun out on her. Like, girl, I don't have a gun, like, at all.
I think that they put it inside, so they checked them. But they said they couldn't go inside, so they checked their body.
They checked them. They wasn't able to prove that they had a gun because,
So she said it was a gun, it was a bat, and like I had to get checked twice by the police officer. And it was like, she came over here looking for problems because the car was gonna get towed.
It's definitely a risk, but, make sure we're prepared for stuff like that from now on.
No hard feelings, supporting black businesses, but it is what it is. You know what you know, it's just fact.
I think I should just be grateful. I'm just gonna be quiet and just be grateful.
I'm sitting here trying to think of what the takeaway is on this case, and I can't think of the takeaway.
I mean, I'm having a hard time as well, but I think accountability and responsibility could be a good one. The defendant knows what she signed, that any damage to the car from her boyfriend, her, anyone while the car was in her possession is on her. But what we see a lot of is emotional issues come into play when people know their responsibility, but then there's an emotional issue. She came to my job, she harassed me, she came to my house and yelled at me, whatever it is. And they think they can use that as a justification to get out of their accountability. And although I'm not promoting going to someone's house for some self-help, that's not a reason for you not to follow through on your responsibility.
On your contractual responsibility.
Yes. Which she was clearly aware of. So maybe that.
That's the takeaway. Maybe that. You're right.
30-year-old Troy Holt for destroying her property after they broke up. Troy says Sylvia took everything he owned. He is countersuing for the cost of his belongings.
Order. Come to order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 290 on the calendar in the matter of Lede versus Holt. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
All right, I have a complaint and a cross-complaint. And basically, you two people lived together for 5 years. You have a child together. You moved out. You claim that the defendant either destroyed or took some of your property. He says when you moved out, you took his property. That's where we're at, right?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start to live together?
We started in 96, if I'm not mistaken.
And have you been together continuously since 96?
Most of the time, yes. It was more, after a while, breakup and separation and coming back.
And how old is your child?
She's 4.
Is there any reason why you didn't get married?
Yes, lots of reasons. Mr. Holt couldn't hold down a job for no more than 2 weeks. He just had one previously for a year and maybe 3-4 months, and he lost that one. The other reasons were Mr. Holt also a lot of times would smoke marijuana. I didn't like that too much, and he'll stop. I'll take him back and start back up. My mistake. Yes. And another thing was Mr. Holt's violent attitude. We had one incident already in 97 for domestic violence, and I took him back for, I know, for many reasons. No, I know, it's a sad story.
But you lived together for 5.5 years.
Yes.
And during that 5.5 years, I assume you were employed?
Yes, I was.
Continuously?
Continuously.
And you were employed sporadically?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
And who watched the baby when the baby was born?
I did.
While you were working?
No. We had a child care that I was paying for when Mr. Hope would go for his minimum wage job, and then he'll come home and say he's sick. And so the next day, the job wouldn't take him back because he either got sick, complained of a stomach ache or something. So that was on and off. And then when he was home, he would watch her. But I will pay for a sitter because I wanted him to try to get out there and find a job.
Why do you have such trouble keeping a job, Mr.
Your Honor, we got together in 1996. 1997, I had an injury to where I was disabled for a couple of years.
What was the nature of your disability?
Well, me and her got into it because she went to go visit her ex-boyfriend. That's the reason why the domestic violence even occurred.
What was the nature of your disability?
I was shot by LAPD. Me and her went through a little confrontation. LAPD came up and they shot me.
Where did they shoot you?
In my leg.
What?
Okay. The reason why he didn't get shot for that, he got shot because he was jumping on me. And the neighbor saw me. He dragged me, and the neighbor called the police. So he got shot for domestic violence and also for having a weapon in your hand.
What kind of weapon?
A knife.
So he was dragging you and he had a knife in his hand?
Yes.
So they disabled him by shooting him in the leg?
Yes.
You were real lucky.
Can I, Your Honor?
Let it rain. All right. Let's move on. You finally decided, Ms. Leday, that you had had enough.
Yes.
And you moved out.
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you claimed that the defendant either took or destroyed?
Well, previously I had put him out in July. Mr. Hope begged to come back because he was on a lease and he was going to bring the police. So to keep everything down, and because I have kids, I didn't want the police at my house and everything being interrupted. I let Mr. Hope back in. We agreed November that we were going to separate it after the lease was going to be final, and I was going on with my life. He was going on with his. Mr. Hope, meanwhile, the beginning of September up to now, Mr. Hope decided I guess he was going to find another place to lay his head and start having an affair on me. So when I found out about the affair, I was upset, of course, and I was angry. So I went home to pack as much stuff as I could. And I left it where Mr. Holt could come back in to get his own belongings.
What do you claim that he either took or destroyed?
He destroyed my whole household, my furniture, my bedroom set. I have photos. I have a police report.
Let me see, please. Was he arrested for this vandalism?
They haven't. They don't know where the case is right now. I went to the police department. They just have it on it because they don't have an address. Or.
So you weren't arrested?
No, ma'am.
You have the receipts for this furniture that you purchased?
Yes, I do.
You made quite a mess here, Mr. Holt.
The only thing that I did was color the couches with ice cone syrup.
What'd you do that for? Well,
why'd I do that? Because she took everything of mine, and everything in the house, she did not buy by herself. It accumulated with us for the last 5 years. None of that stuff.
I'm going to get there.
All right.
I mean, I see what you did to these sofas.
Yes,
She
that I
says
did.
she bought these sofas in February of 2001, so they were relatively new. Did you buy the furniture, or did she?
She bought the couches. Yes, she did.
So that's the thing that you decided to destroy, the thing that she had bought.
Well,
what?
She took everything of mine. When I came in that house, everything was cleared. Everything, the TVs, the DVD player, the VCR, my PlayStation 2, a car that I helped accumulate with her, all my videotapes that I've been collecting with me and my daughter for over the past years. She took everything of mine. See, I'm not the type of person that would go to court.
Mr. Holt, let me ask you a
Okay.
question, sir. Did you file tax returns last year?
Yes, I did.
How much did you earn on your tax returns last year?
Yeah, I made about
Not about file tax returns last year.
about 1823 for
What's
this year.
1823? 18?
About 23,000.
And how much did you report on your tax returns that you made the year before last?
About 14, 15.
Now, did you file tax returns last year?
Yes, I did.
How much did you earn on your tax returns last year?
My total earnings were 52.
52,000.
Yes.
So it's clear who was maintaining the household, because on what you earn, sir, you can hardly support yourself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sylvia Leday says when she confronted ex-boyfriend Troy Holt about him cheating, he doused her couches with snow cone syrup.
Okay. Mr. Holt, do you have other children other than this child?
Yes, I do.
Where are your other children?
One's with her, and the other one's with her mother.
One child is with her mother. Do you pay child support for that
Yes,
child?
I do.
How much do you pay in child support?
Well, before she took me to the DA, and they came down with a price, I was paying her about $100 every 2 weeks.
So out of this 20-some-odd $1,000, you were paying child support in the amount of $200 a month or $2,400 a year. So let me hear how you bought this television set and this DVD player and the PlayStation and all that other stuff that you claimed that you stole that was yours.
Well, I mean, I get 2 tapes a month. I got a proof right here that I've been going to this guy for years, that I've been buying videotapes from him for years.
What's the rent on the place where you live?
$1,265 with our water and trash. It's come to $1,300.
Who paid the rent?
I paid the rent.
Just a minute. Did you have a joint account?
No, we didn't.
Your Honor, she didn't pay everything at that house. I gave out of each paycheck from $500 to $550 to $600 every single 2 weeks.
That's impossible, sir, on your earnings.
I was bringing home $1,400, $1,500 a month. So how is that impossible? I would barely have money for myself. I would ask her, where's the groceries at?
Grow up.
You grow up.
Okay, you have to understand, Ms. Leday, when people live together, there is no way that a court is going to be able to, or wants to, make everybody whole.
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
You chose not to get married. You said he's got a lot of impediments to marriage, but not a lot of impediments to living with him and having a child with him. There are no statutes like there are when you're married. You're married, everything is community property in some states, or it's depending upon who purchased it. When you live together for 5.5 years, no court is going to go back over history to decide whose tape was that and who made the mess here and who broke that dish and who broke that picture frame. It's just not going to happen unless there's a specific act of vandalism. Clearly, according to the police report, there were specific acts of vandalism. You have bills for the sofas that you bought, and they were, in fact, not purchased in February of '01, but according to this bill, they were purchased in August of 2000.
Yes.
All right, so you were mistaken. They weren't purchased just a few months ago.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Doesn't make any difference.
Okay, I'm
You
sorry.
paid, not $1,700 as you quoted in the police report, but you paid for them a total of $1,432. That you're going to get back from Mr. Holt because he purposefully destroyed them, making them impossible for anybody to use. The police officer also indicates that the bedroom furniture was totally destroyed because he took the drawers out of the furniture, threw them around, making them incapable of being put back. Now, you only paid how much for that?
I paid $600, but it was in '99. It was a while.
Do you have a bill?
I just have a letter from her because it was from a friend.
No, I'm not taking this letter from
Your
a
Honor.
friend. What?
That she bought from a lady in Compton for $175
I'm not
because she
dealing
was
with
trying.
that.
The
I'm not
drawers
dealing
were
with that.
already out.
I'm not dealing with
Okay.
it. Fine. Can't destroy property. It's not nice. Now, you have any bills for the TV, VCR, et
Do
cetera?
I? No.
Yeah,
She
well, then
took everything out of the
then
drawers.
I can't help you.
But
She may have
I
taken-
do have bills of what she did take and how much it accumulated to.
I'm going to take a look at them, sir.
Okay.
You need a bill. And if she took everything, then you go back to the store where you bought the TV or where you bought the VCR, and you say, I lost my bill. Get me a duplicate bill, please. Did you do that?
No, I just went and got these tapes. They're just the tapes that I accumulated over the years that it was mine and my daughter's when it was our special moment together.
Do you still have visitation with your daughter?
No, I got to take her to court to get visitations.
All right. Let me just see his list so he feels as if I've looked at it.
May I say something? Your
Sure.
Honor? The tapes that he's speaking about are Dragon Ball Z cartoon tapes. Mr. Holt and I purchased those tapes together because our daughter enjoys those tapes. Mr. Holt told me when he was crying to me 2 weeks after his little affair, he called me 2 weeks telling me that he was sorry and that he still loved me, and whatever I do, keep the Dragon Ball Z tapes for Taylor and to just make sure that I keep the collection up. I told him, I said, okay, fine. I can do that with no problem. The TV...
I'm not dealing with the TV.
Okay, we're out for the TV.
Forget the TV, forget the
Okay.
VCR. My question is, do you have the tape?
I sure do. And
I want you to do me this favor.
Okay.
No, you can do me a favor. We'll put it in an order.
Okay.
I want you to box up the tapes.
Okay.
In really good condition.
I will.
And give them back to him.
Okay.
Because if he eventually gets visitation with the child, then he'll be able to watch them with her. And if he doesn't, he can sit and watch them himself. Okay. Go ahead.
I've been collecting these tapes and a lot of this stuff for a long time. Now, these tapes I put on shelves. They're in like mint condition. I collect these tapes because they add up to pictures. She's the type of person that will let everybody just take them, bend them up, wreck them up.
You're getting your tapes back.
Messed
She's
up.
not paying for them. There's no proof that they're messed up, sir.
When she hands them to me, it will be.
I didn't hear what he said. Did you hear what he said? So I'm not interested in what he said. There's no proof that they're messed up, sir. She doesn't appear to be the kind of woman that if her daughter wanted to watch a tape, what she would do is she would purposefully damage it so her daughter couldn't watch it. So you're going to get your tapes back within 5 days, and you owe $1,432 for the couch. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Make sure a woman doesn't help you out with nothing. You do it all on your own.
Nobody likes him except for the Happy Meal that he have right now. He traded in filet mignon and lobster for a Happy Meal, and he has to be the toy, so that's what you get.
Forward, please.
18-year-old baseball player Justin Durham is suing his ex-fiancée, 19-year-old waitress Kara Creech, for the return of an engagement ring. Kara is countersuing for the return of her class ring.
Mr. Durham, you and the defendant were engaged to be married. It didn't work out. You want the engagement ring back.
That's right.
Ms. Creech says that you have some property of hers, you have a class ring, and there are some other expenses that she believes that are your responsibility as a result of this failed wedding. She is counterclaiming. She said you didn't pay for these rings yourself. There was some down payment made by her mother. So when did you become engaged?
Well, it was about 4 months ago.
Look at me. Not
I had asked her mom to help me with $100 to make the down payment on the ring. So she did. With no more than 3 days later, I gave her a crisp $100 bill.
Did he give you back the $100?
Yes, he just didn't pay the 10. I gave him 110, that was all.
Fine, so that's a wash. So that's taken care of. So other than the down payment, initially, you paid for the ring?
Right.
So 4 months ago, are you laughing? Is this funny?
No.
4 months ago, you became engaged. And for how long were you engaged?
For about five months.
1 month.
Just a second. Mr. Durham, I'm not very good at math. If you became engaged 4 months ago and you were engaged for 5 months, then we're talking about Back to the Future. Do you understand? How long were you engaged?
About a month and a half.
And what happened?
She cheated on me.
No, that's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, so as a result of that, you say the engagement was broken.
Right.
You broke the engagement.
No, she did.
Can I see the ring, please? Who has the receipt for the ring?
I do.
I have one too.
Can I see both, please? How much did you pay for this ring?
$549.
No. You have a ring and then there's a bridal set.
I have the other piece. It was a set. It wasn't a separate piece.
Well, it's billed separately, sir. One says $371 and the other item was $128. So here we have the engagement ring. Now, is the engagement ring $371? Let's get it together, please. I mean, this is not, I've got a secret. Would you answer me?
Yes.
Yes, what?
The ring was $400.
$371.
$371, sorry.
Where's the other piece of this, the $128 set? You have that?
Right.
Can I see it, please? Okay. Very nice. And I see it's a nice little set because one of these things fits in here like this. I don't know how it does it. I'm never very good at that. There you go. Very pretty. Okay. So here's this piece back. Now, he gets them both. Engagement ring. Engagement's off. Engagement ring is given in contemplation of marriage. No more engagement. He gets the ring back. Return them. Sell them. Contemplate them. Now let's get to your counterclaim. Do you have her class ring?
Yes, I do.
Where is it? Perfect. Look how easy this is going to be. It's going to be a piece of cake. Class ring. He gets the receipts. She gets the class ring.
Got it.
Perfect. Now she's got a class ring back. Now, miscellaneous wedding expenses that you think he should pay for. You say you broke off this engagement.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because I have a 1-year-old son, and I am not putting what he does around my son. He came to my house one night, and he was high and he was drunk.
Okay. And you thought it was a bad idea.
Yes.
So you broke off the engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a wedding dress and some little wedding expenses.
Yes.
Then you made a good choice. You pay for those. You should have thought twice about becoming engaged to somebody that you knew for a relatively short period of time. Right?
Yes.
So consider yourself very lucky. Dye your engagement dress another color. Yellow. Use it again. And if he was the wrong person for you, it's a very cheap price. Right?
Yes.
Good luck. Everybody's got their property back? Goodbye.
Party's excused. You may step out.
I got what I wanted. Now I don't have to worry about him no more.
That's all I wanted to do in the first place was give everything back. That way I never talk to her again.
Talk to him no more, see him no more.
Don't make anything harder than it has to be.
Crowd, step forward, please.
20-year-old student Amber Vincent and her boyfriend Josh Miller are suing 24-year-old computer technician Roger Crowell for breaking her windshield with a softball.
Who was driving the car that day?
I was, Your Honor.
And whose car is it?
Mine, Your Honor.
According to your complaint, you're driving your car. It's a 1995 BMW. Mind your own business, and all of a sudden you see a ball come towards the car, smashes your windshield. And it's your claim that the defendant, who was playing softball on that day, was at bat and responsible because he hit the ball that was responsible for your broken windshield.
Correct.
He says it wasn't him, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, once your windshield was smashed, tell me exactly what you did.
Well, first, I would like to point out, as I was on the decline of the hill that was parallel to Centennial Middle School, I actually noticed the ball players playing ball. And as I was driving, you know, I see, if my windshield wasn't there, I could have literally caught the ball with my hands. Shatters the windshield, bounces off. I don't know where it went. I pulled right in. And from that moment, the first person I saw was a woman in a van with a bunch of kids. She, in turn, was the coach's wife who was there and pointed out Mr. Kroll as the person who had hit in the ball. She said that she saw him hit the ball. She
Can't
heard
tell
it
me
hit
what she
something.
said. That's all hearsay.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's not true either, Your Honor.
Well,
listen, we're not talking about an intentional act here, sir.
Okay.
Do you understand? We're not talking about an intentional act. You weren't aiming, or whoever hit the ball wasn't aiming for a car. You were aiming for a home run, or whoever hit the ball was aiming for a home run. So you get on the field where they were playing ball.
Well,
and you have, just a second, and you have a discussion with somebody in a car. And how long did this discussion take?
I was still discussing stuff with her in and out of conversation until after the police had arrived and departed the scene.
Now, when you arrived, did you see who was at the plate?
Yes.
Hitting who?
It was Mr. Kroll.
And you pulled into the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Did it take you a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? How long did it take you to pull in?
30 seconds. I mean, it hit and the driveway was right there. I pulled in, parked the car. It was actually, I don't even remember if I left it. I think I left it even running when I got out of the car because I was just frantic.
You're telling me that when you pulled in, you saw the defendant at the plate?
Yes, he was holding the bat, standing at the plate.
That's
okay.
not true.
Shh. Don't say anything else until I ask you a question. Understood? Good. From where the person who was at bat is holding the bat and where your car was originally hit, is that in front of it? I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is, would have been a foul ball, or would that have been a home run?
It was, I asked who had the home run swing.
Just a second. So that would have been a home run.
Correct.
Now, I am not really a sports aficionado. However, am I correct, Bird, that if one hits a home run, what one does immediately is drop the bat and start running around the bases? You do that immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as the ball takes off.
Yeah.
Right?
In
You see it go, and you start running.
That's right.
You get where I'm going?
Yes.
Just a minute. You get where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
So, took you 30 seconds to get in. According to you, when you got there, he's standing poised.
Correct.
To bat.
Not poised, standing there holding the bat, almost in anticipation of my arrival. It was during
He
softball
can't-
practice.
No.
It wasn't
Okay.
a game.
No. Now, Mr. Crowell, I have a couple of questions for you. Would you do me a favor while I'm getting it? Would you just get the estimate of the windshield? 'Cause
Sure.
I'm sure she has that as on the paper. Tell me about this league that you play with, sir.
We played in a county softball league. It was co-ed.
So you are part of a team.
Yes, I was the coach.
Okay.
I arranged the team and everything.
Fine. And how long has this group been playing together?
We started practicing in April.
Same group of guys and gals?
Yes.
How many are on the team?
At the time, there was probably 15.
Are there dues?
Yes, there were.
And what are the dues?
Well, it was $20 for each player for the players' fees,
Mhm.
and then the team registration fee came out to be, if you had 15 people, $20 per person, and our sponsor paid the sponsor fee, the team registration dues.
Okay. You get where I'm going? I'm not sure you get where I'm going, so I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
Because this is not really a very difficult case. I don't know whether you were at bat or whether you weren't at bat. It really is not relevant. You were the coach of the team, right? You put it together.
Yes.
The league together. There is the question in my mind that the plaintiff's car was hit by a softball that somehow emanated from your team. Now, we have a totally innocent party, and that's this team over here. Totally innocent. They're driving along. And on the other side, we have some guys and gals who are playing softball, and certainly without intention, one of their members was responsible for a ball getting away. Who do you think should pay?
Well, Your Honor,
Take a deep breath before you answer that question, because we're talking here about responsibility. Not necessarily your individual responsibility,
right,
sir, but we're talking about baseball in a windshield, baseball on a baseball field.
I was willing to investigate the matter because we didn't know if the county would pay for it, since it was an organized practice and we're playing on their fields. So we wanted to look into that, and of course I was going to do that. There was also a gentleman that had been hitting before who had hit quite a few balls over the fence, and there was a couple...
From your league?
Yes.
Yeah.
None of them struck anything. None of them, they all bounced off the road, and this guy probably shouldn't have been hitting up there anyway because he's probably the best hitter on our team, but and being that the fence is so near the road.
Let's get on with it. Who do you think should pay for their broken windshield?
Not me.
Your team. Not necessarily you if you say you didn't hit a ball that far. And it's very possible that you didn't. And even the guy who was hitting before you, I'm certain didn't intend to cause any damage to anyone. But you got innocent people and you got the team responsible. So you take up a collection, you tell everybody, kick in $25, we're going to pay for the windshield. Period. End of discussion. Have an estimate here for $300.52. Judgment for the plaintiff. Get it from your team. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She came into the parking lot and just started screaming.
I knew he did it. He knew he did it.
It could have happened before she even drove by the field.
I just said I wasn't going to leave without payment, and that's as simple as that.
She started harassing us.
I left him messages to make $10 payments. He couldn't afford it.
It happened Thursday night, and by Monday she was ready to sue us.
We called him 25 different times. He never answered his phone.
Manager Johnny Oldham for reward money that was promised for finding his toy poodle.
Miss Brewer, according to your complaint, you found a dog that turned out to be the defendant's dog. The dog was returned to the defendant, and you believe that there had been a reward for the dog, $500, I believe. You want the reward money.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you find this dog?
My daughter and I was coming back from Little Rock, and we found it on June the 24th. It was dodging cars across the interstate, and we saw it, and we stopped, and we picked it up, and we had called the number that was on the tag, which was his phone number and the veterinarian's number. Was unable to reach anybody, so the following day...
What day of the week was the 24th of June?
It was on Sunday.
Okay, go ahead.
On the 25th, I had called the vet and reported it, that I found the dog and where, and left my name and phone number with them.
Did you speak to a person or an answering machine?
I spoke to the person.
Okay.
Later Monday night, the dog was having seizures. So I called the vet the following next day to see if they were able to locate him. And they still didn't. And I had continued to keep calling his home because they gave me his name and his address and everything.
Did you do anything for the dog when the dog was having seizures?
I just did what the veterinarian said, just stay with them and talk to them and just be there with them.
What kind of dog was it?
It's a poodle.
You have any animals of your own?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What kind of animals?
I have chihuahuas and a basset hound.
So you have small ones and then one short one, but long.
Short and
and
long.
heavy.
Big ears.
Big ears. Go ahead.
I continued to keep calling all week, and we finally got a hold of him on Friday, or to his wife.
Almost a week later.
Yes,
Found the dog on a Sunday. The following Friday, you
Yes,
got
ma'am.
in touch with him. Okay, you spoke to his wife.
I had spoken to his wife, told her my name and phone number, and that I had found the dog and where, gave her my address for them to come pick it up. And she had told me about a reward money.
Where's your wife?
She's at home with our children.
Go ahead.
I didn't even know anything about the reward money. His wife had told me, and she said that they have not told their kids because they didn't know what to say to their kids.
Did she say she was paying the reward money?
No, ma'am. She said that a kennel was.
So who came to pick up the dog?
He did about an hour later.
And you gave him the dog?
I gave him the dog.
Did you have a discussion with him about this reward money?
He told me that he had talked to the kennel, and the reward money still stood since I had found the dog, and he's going to make sure I got the reward money.
That's
So
what he said to you?
That's not what
Shh, just a second. That's what he said to you?
That's exactly what he said in front of my daughter and my son and nephews.
Okay. And you never got the reward money?
No, ma'am. He went and picked it up.
Okay. Now, Mr. Oldham.
Yes, ma'am.
I gather that you were on vacation, which is why the dog was kennelled, according to what I read in your papers.
Yes, it was.
When did you go on vacation?
I left on a Saturday afternoon
And how long were you and your family away?
till Thursday afternoon.
No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, we got back on a Friday. I apologize.
Good. Now, during the time you were away on vacation, you had no idea that this dog that you had put in a kennel,
No.
right? Let me finish my question, and you can say no. While you were away for that week, you had no information that your dog that you had placed in a kennel had somehow gotten loose, escaped, been lost. Is that right?
That's right.
So you get home Friday, and you get a call from the plaintiff,
Yes, ma'am.
who told you she had your dog.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went and got your dog.
That's not exactly how the events took place.
Well, tell me how they took place.
Okay, we got back home that afternoon, and my mother-in-law called me, first of all, and told me that a dog had been stolen from the kennels. She said she didn't call us when we were on vacation because she didn't want us to bother us while we were on vacation. There was nothing we could have done anyway.
Good idea. See how smart your mother-in-law is?
Very smart. Very smart. So we directly after that, we called the kennels, and my wife talked to her, and my wife lost it. She was bawling, and I got on the phone, and I told her, I said, how can you tell me that my dog was stolen and it was the only dog stolen? She said, well, it was, and I told her I was to be right there. I went down there to talk to her person to person.
Now, the kennel and your vet are two different people, is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. So you went down, you spoke to the kennel people. What happened next?
Well, she called 5 minutes after I got off the phone.
Fine, so that's what I said before.
I'm
She
sorry.
called you.
She called me 5 minutes after I got off the phone with the kennels.
Did you ever call your vet?
Yes.
Pay careful attention to what I'm asking you. When you called your vet, did your vet advise you that they had received a telephone call days before from the plaintiff?
No.
Did you ask them?
Yes.
And what did they say?
They said they received a telephone call from her asking about our dog.
Well, that's what I'm asking you, sir. I'm not playing with you.
I'm sorry. I
They
didn't understand the
received a
question.
telephone call from the plaintiff days before
Yes, ma'am.
saying, I found this dog. Here is the tag number.
No, ma'am. They called. She said that the information that they asked was they wanted to know about the dog. They wanted to know information about my dog. They did not tell her that they'd found my dog. They said they wanted to know information about my dog because it had seizures.
Oh, I don't think that that's true, Mr. Oldman. I think you're making that up, sir.
I've got a letter from the veterinarian.
I don't think that that's true, sir. Mr. Oldham.
I've got a letter from the veterinarian also.
Yeah, I'd like to see both letters.
It's just showing my dog. Shh.
All right. This is a letter dated July 27th. Just saved me a phone call because I'm not stupid. This is what he's going to tell me if I call. I had a phone conversation about a month ago with a lady who had found a poodle on Interstate 30. She was attempting to find the owner of the dog and reported that the dog had seizures. The dog had been vaccinated at our clinic, and she had obtained the name and phone number of the owner and stated that she attempted to contact him. This is from your vet.
Okay. Right. Yes, ma'am.
Now, did the kennel pay you any money?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
How much money did the kennel pay you?
She gave me $500 for her irresponsibility and compensation.
Baloney! I absolutely believe the plaintiff when she said to me that she was told there was a reward. Not a reward that you were going to pay for the dog, but a reward that the kennel was offering for the dog.
No, ma'am. I mean,
no, ma'am.
I went up there to get my dog from the kennels.
Yeah.
After I got it, it was infested with fleas. I took it to the kennels and I said, would you please dip it? It's infested with fleas. The conversation we had between her was that we believed that she had something to do with the stealing of my dog.
I want to tell you something, Mr. Oldham. There is something wrong with your mind. Why would somebody who stole your dog call the vet, report that she had found this dog, say, I don't understand it, the dog has seizures, could you help me out? I don't know what to do with the dog has seizures. Then pick up the phone and try to call you. Now, there's no question she had been trying to call you continuously because she called you on the day you returned from vacation. You think that that was just an act of God that she called you just on that day? She had been calling you continuously all week. What you did was the wrong thing. You should have paid her yourself for finding your dog. Instead, the kennel, who was responsible for lax security, offered a reward. She found the dog. She wasn't even looking for the reward. She wasn't. She was promised the reward because she was told that there was a reward. And then you went, picked up the money, and kept it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She shouldn't have given her any money because they thought that she was the one that had something to do stealing my dog.
All I was trying to do is rescue a dog from crossing the freeway.
I do believe they had something to do with it.
He shouldn't have said that we stole his dog whenever we tried to do an honest thing.
There was a young boy there that was fired from the kennels because of the fact that they thought they had something, they were in connection with each other.
I'd pick up another dog.
Is suing her former roommate, 30-year-old masseuse Rebecca Martins, for forcing her to move. Rebecca is countersuing, claiming Tara broke their lease.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 191 on the calendar in the matter of Burke versus Martins. Thank you. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Ms. Burke, according to your complaint, in July of this year,
Yes.
you moved in with the defendant, signing a 6-month lease with her.
Correct.
As a roommate.
Correct.
It was not a match made in heaven.
No.
It is your claim that 3 weeks later, she forcibly evicted you from the premises. You are suing her for the expenses that you incurred as a result of that move.
Correct.
Okay. The defendant is counterclaiming, claiming that you breached your lease with her, you had no basis to move, and she claims that you did certain damage to the premises. Is that right?
Correct.
How did you find this roommate situation, Ms. Burke?
I have a copy of her ad in Roommate Finders. It's a roommate service, and I went through that service.
Did you find it online? Is that what you did?
Yes.
Okay. So when did you move in?
On July 25th.
And did you pay August's rent?
Yes, I did.
Which was $800?
Yes, I have a copy of all of my canceled checks.
I don't think that she denies that.
No,
And you
I
paid an additional $400?
Yes, I did.
Is that right?
Yes.
All right, so what caused you to move?
Well, when I moved in, and actually when I came to look at the place, Miss Martinson informed me that she was a massage therapist and that she worked from her home. I wanted to know what kind of massage she performed, and I asked her specifically, is it like sports injury massage? And she said, oh yeah, that's basically what I do. And I said, well, what hours do you perform massage out of the house? And she told me it was strictly during the day. And I was fine with that. She was what I thought was a struggling mother who just had a child, and anyway, I don't want to ramble. Anyway, 2 nights after I moved in, I was walking from my bedroom to the kitchen, and in the living room were 2 naked people. The naked man was lying on his back on the massage table, and the naked woman, not Mrs. Martins, was massaging the naked man in the portion of his body that should be covered by a towel.
Your Honor, this is not true.
Just a minute. Go ahead.
It is true. I informed Miss Martins what I had seen, and she told me that she didn't know what was going on, and that she was very upset with her friend, and that she would take care of it, and that wouldn't happen again.
Someone else worked out of your house as well?
No, I had a girlfriend. She was there. She's here in the building. She would like to testify, just not on camera. She will testify that that is an incorrect statement.
Was she using your house at any time to give massages, whatever kind of massages they were?
She was spending the night, her and her boyfriend. What they were doing that night, I don't know.
She was, according to her, giving him a great massage.
A couple nights later, I walked out, and the same naked woman was there with a different naked man. This time she was crawling on top of the naked man.
In the living room?
Yes. And I informed Mrs. Martinson again. She promised again it wouldn't happen. I just wanted to believe that it wouldn't happen again. But it continued to happen. As a matter of fact, it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon this time, and her friend had come over with this third, different man, and they had gone into the back bedroom. And when I asked Rebecca about it, she stated that she didn't think that there was anything wrong with it, and that I told her that from what I had witnessed, it was basically prostitution in my definition, and that I'd worked far too hard for my goals. I'm also a full-time student, that I wasn't going to let what she was doing put me at risk because of these strange men coming in the house.
This was after about a week?
That was about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay, so you had this confrontation with her after 2 weeks, and
Yes.
whether she was correct as to what she saw, accurate as to what she's
It's not
reporting.
accurate.
Just listen to me. You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
Whether she is correct or she is incorrect about what she saw, you did have this discussion with her during this first and second week of her tenancy.
It was after the first week.
So whether it's right or it's wrong, this is what she reported to you and complained about. Is that right?
Half of it.
Fine.
Not
Even if it's
entirely.
half. I don't care which half. The bottom half or the top half. It doesn't make any difference. It's half.
Okay.
Okay. So what happened? So now you're in the second week.
Right.
Go ahead.
I had finals coming up in a week, so I knew that I had to concentrate on finals, so I basically needed to deal with this afterwards. Did my studying mostly from my office, sometimes picked up the dogs and took them to the dog park and studied there, anything to keep from going home because of what was going on at the house. I didn't want to go home. After I finished my finals on August 12th, I got home at about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I went back, and my dog was out there with a muzzle on his nose. It was about 100 degrees out in the valley on that day, and he was sick and lethargic. I threw him in the pool and brought him inside to bring his body temperature down, and called the emergency vet.
Because he couldn't pant.
He couldn't pant, he couldn't drink. And I called the emergency vets, and they told me just to monitor him. And he got better, so I didn't end up taking him to the vet. But they did tell me that if he had been there longer, he would have
Don't tell me
died.
what they told you. Muzzle was tight on his face. Couldn't pant, which means you can't get rid of the heat.
Right.
You couldn't drink. Okay. Did you discuss that with her?
Yes, I was actually very upset when it happened, but I realized by the time she got home about 4 hours later, I didn't want any kind of confrontation, so I just calmly said, please don't do this. You know, it put him at danger, and I don't want to, you know, he could have died.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tara Burke claims former roommate Rebecca Martins forced her to move. Tara says Rebecca is running an illegal massage business.
So what happened next?
I basically stayed in my room that night. The next day I went to work. It wasn't until 2 nights later. Miss Martinson was getting ready for bed, and I informed her that I didn't think the situation was going to work out and gave her my notice.
Okay.
The next night I got home at about 8 o'clock, and Miss Martins was in a rage. And she asked me if I'd found a place yet. And I told her, no, of course I hadn't. We had just spoken about it the night before. And at that point, she started screaming at me and, you know, saying that I used the house as a hotel and I've been gone all day. And I said, I have a job. Of course I've been gone all day. And she said, well, you're off at 3. You know, it's 8 o'clock. Where have you been all this time? And I was actually shocked that she would even be questioning me on that. And she's just a roommate. So basically, she started getting more and more aggravated and informed me that if I left for work the next morning, she was going to throw my belongings out on the lawn and change the locks. At which point I told her that she couldn't do that. That wasn't legal. And she started, you know, saying, well, you can sue me, but that won't do you any good. And I said, well, you're out of control. And I reached for the phone to grab 911, and she came after me.
No.
So I ran out the side door of the house, and I ran to the neighbor's house and called 911 and waited at the neighbor's house for the police to show up. The police showed up, and they spoke to each one of us separately. They came out and told me that it was illegal for her to do that, and if she were to try to do that, that I should call them back and they would come back and arrest her, and that I should try to get out as quickly as possible, and I told them that I would.
So you moved out the next day?
Yes. And the entire time I was moving out, she was behind me screaming and threatening me. And
Okay, so you moved out on the 16th?
Correct.
Okay. Now let's hear your version.
Okay, it's really not quite what she said.
Just tell me your version, I'll decide.
She comes to visit on my ad. I liked her, I let her move in. Everything was okay. She paid me the money. The dogs came after, about 3 days later, and they were a problem from the onset.
But she told you she had dogs before.
Right, but she also told me it was a 7-year-old Rottweiler, and it was a 2-year-old lab that was very well behaved. They were not. The 7-year-old was in heat, and the male was very aggressive. I have pictures of where he bit my dog. He bit my dog 3 times, and that is the reason the muzzle was put on. And she was the one that told me, if they get out of hand, put the muzzle on it, it's in the garage. So that is why I did that after my dog was bitten. And the reason why I had the fight with her at all was because she wasn't looking after her dogs. They had escaped from the yard twice. I have a witness here to testify that they ended up down the block twice. And so she brought me into it saying I had to go look for the dogs.
So let's go back to the 14th of August, a couple of days before she moved out.
Actually, we need to go back up to the first week. After the first week, she got upset because of having a friend over, and she said she saw what she saw. I never saw it, denied it.
That's incorrect.
So that day, she said, I can't handle this. I'm giving you my 2-week notice.
Okay.
So then on the 14th,
Your Honor, that's
she reiterated to me that she was moving out at the same point that we fought over the dogs. I said, your dog's in heat. The male dog is beating up my dog. You need to separate them. And then she did. She put them a few days earlier in the dog run, but then there's no shade there. So I had to keep giving them buckets of water. I had to keep hosing them down. Meanwhile, I have a sick baby in the house.
Okay.
And so, it was
So
an
now we're at the
inconvenience to
14th
me.
and 15th. Go ahead.
Right. And so I told her, I said, you're not looking after your animals. I'm not looking after them tomorrow. I said, I am not looking after your pets one more day. This is not a daycare for animals. It's not included with the rent.
Okay.
So she got all mad at me. She grabbed my phone. She ran to her room. Of course, I followed her because she had my phone in her hand. I didn't agree to let her use my phone. And so she goes, I'm calling 911. I'm like, for what? And so she exited out the side door of her room, and she went outside because I unplugged the phone in the living room so she couldn't use the phone.
Why did you do that?
Because she grabbed my phone. She didn't have permission to use it.
Well, you knew she was calling the police.
She said she was. I didn't know what she was
Well,
going
what
to
did
do.
who did you think she was going to call?
I don't know. I wasn't really sure, but I didn't want her using my phone.
Go ahead.
So I unplugged it, and so she couldn't use it. So then I guess she went to the neighbors.
Right.
The police
She called
came.
the police.
Right.
Police told you couldn't evict her.
And I said, well, she gave her 2-week notice, and it's up tomorrow.
But she's already paid up till the end of the month.
She gave her 2-week notice.
She's paid up till the end of the month.
Okay, well, I had someone else that wanted to move in because she had given her notice.
Okay, so she moved out the next day.
She moved her dogs at 9 in the morning, and I thought, great, the dogs are gone. Then she came back a couple hours, and after her and her friend had berated me, and that's why the police were called again that day, and they came to keep the peace. So the police were there the day she moved out with her truck, and upon leaving, she decided to vandalize my car. I have pictures here. She scratched to 3-foot scratch across my brand new car.
Who saw her do that?
The neighbor across the street.
Where's the neighbor?
They didn't want to be on camera.
Everybody doesn't want to be on camera. You must have people who are wanted for something. Let me explain something to you. I take testimony.
Right.
I'll hear a witness.
Yes, there is a witness here.
Who?
Carrie is a neighbor down the block that testified to her dogs being out.
I'm not interested in the dogs being out. I'm interested in vandalizing your car.
Oh, this is the picture.
I'm not interested in the picture. I'm interested in somebody who saw her vandalize your car.
Well, I didn't see her actually do it.
Fine.
But
Let's
she
move
was
on.
standing next to the car.
Let's move on. I'm going to deal with the counterclaim first.
Right.
Damage to the car I've dealt with. I don't have anybody who saw her do it. What about a fence?
Yes. The fence was destroyed by her dogs.
Let me see. Did your dogs do this?
I have no idea. This is the first I've heard of it. She has a dog as well, so I don't know whether mine
How did
or-
they do this to the fence?
The Rottweiler dug under the fence, and the lab started chewing on the fence and ripped it off. I made a police report the day that the police came to keep the peace, and they saw it, and they made a note of it in the
Your
report.
Honor, I'm the one who called the police.
Just a second.
No, you didn't.
Just a second. You have a police report?
I
About this fence?
called the police that
Do you have a
day.
police report about the fence?
They didn't say it in there, but they want to know about the car incident as well.
I don't know about the car. I'm talking about the fence.
It doesn't say anything about the fence, but it shows
Fine.
an investigation.
Fine. I want to know about the fence.
Right.
You said
this is the whole incident.
Is there anything in there about the fence? The answer
It
is
doesn't
yes
say the
or
word
no.
fence.
Now, reimbursements of cleaning costs. What are the cleaning costs?
Yes, $70 per hour, 2-hour minimum.
For what?
For cleaning up the state of the room that she left it. I have pictures of the way she left the room.
Can I see it, please?
You have to look closely on the floor. There's about an inch thick of dog hair.
This is the room the way she left it?
On the floor, yeah.
It's pretty clean to me. Next.
There's dog hair on. No, look on the floor.
I'm looking at the floor.
Okay, and the
Looks pretty clean to you?
Looks clean to me.
Next. What else?
Okay.
Defamation of character and miscellaneous expenses.
Right, the biting of my dog.
Forget it.
Was a show dog.
Okay, good.
Okay. The dog.
Miss Martins, I'm not going to torture you anymore. Let me give it to you as I see it, madam.
Okay.
The plaintiff wanted a roommate.
Yes.
She wanted to live with someone. She answered your ad.
Yes.
In good faith, she came. You asked her for $400 security.
Yes.
She gave you $400 security.
Yes.
She agreed to move in. She moved in on or about the 25th of July. She paid you the entire amount of rent.
Yes.
So that she was all paid up through the end of August. She was so uncomfortable with the situation there that she saw, so uncomfortable that according to you, she was so upset that your friend was doing business out of your house that after 1 week, she said, I can't stay here anymore. You know, this is not good for me. You know, I'm not going to jeopardize my life by staying here. We'll have a police raid here, and I'm going to get caught in the middle of this thing. So, according to you, after 1 week, she said, I'm moving.
Right.
Now, she's all paid up till the end of August. You can't throw her out.
I didn't throw her. I just wanted her dogs to behave.
And how did you expect to do that?
She bought a barking collars for them, but she didn't put the batteries in. She refused to put batteries in.
So, my
things.
question to you is, you were both unhappy with this arrangement.
Yes.
Clearly. She was unhappy with the kind of business being conducted out of your home, and you were unhappy with her barking dogs. So clearly this was a situation that should just go away by her moving out. Right?
Yes.
Perfect. What monies do you think you are owed? Listen to me carefully, because her counterclaim is gone. I'm dismissing it. She has no counterclaim.
Right.
But what about her scratching my car? I mean, that's a $400 damage.
I don't believe she did it.
I didn't.
Since I don't believe very much else of what you tell me, Miss Martins, I don't believe that she scratched your car.
She scratched my car.
Okay, good. Where did you go after you left her house?
A good friend of mine, when he actually heard what was happening in the house, had been telling me, get out, I have a 3-bedroom house, you can stay with me. I felt my duty as a tenant was to give notice, so I didn't, okay.
Just answer my question.
My friend's house.
Are you still there?
No, I found a place.
You found a place in a roommate situation?
Very nice roommate, though.
Okay.
And she has a normal job.
Your Honor, was not working out of my house. She was there with a boyfriend. I mean, you're claiming that she was working out of my house. She's not
Listen.
at work. She's a flight attendant.
Let me tell you this. Whatever she was doing in your house when you weren't there,
I was
according
there.
to you, listen to me, you're not getting it. Are you thick? I tried to explain it. I will do it one more time. She came, she gave you money. According to you, she gave you notice within 1 week that because of the things that she was observing in your house and she was so distressed, she was giving you notice. That's according to you.
Well, she could
Now,
see
just
through
a second.
walls?
Just a second. What I'm telling you is, based upon what you told me, after 1 week of living in your house.
She was complaining, yes. No, is very attractive and very thin, and she was calling her a crack because of her thinness and her wanting to swim in my pool naked.
Miss Martins, there is no question in my mind that the
She was
plaintiff...
jealous of her.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,100. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Oh, it was completely astonishing that I lost.
Well, I just am glad that it's over.
This girl vandalizes my property, ruins my house, leaves it a mess, and then wins the judgment.
I'm glad that we can move on. I can recoup some of my losses.
This woman was an overeater, eating chocolate chip cookies at 3 a.m.
She was running an illegal business out of her house, and I didn't want any part of that.
My friend's very attractive. They didn't hit it off well. She was jealous because she's an overweight, obese woman.
The naked people in the living room was not a selling point either.
She was having adult relations with her boyfriend.
Her massage room is in the living room.
Is that a crime with a boyfriend and girlfriend having
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bloom parent versus parent. Step forward, please.
57-year-old Shirley Bloom and her daughter, 23-year-old teacher Terry Parent, are suing Shirley's son, 21-year-old plumber's assistant Jess Parent, for an unpaid loan to keep him out of jail.
According to your complaint, there came a time when your son was facing a prison term or facing jail unless he could come up with some money. You took out a loan so he would have the money, but you needed some collateral, and the only collateral that you had was your mother's car, which you did put up as collateral for this loan. Your brother hasn't paid back the loan. What was he facing jail about?
It was for deferred adjudication, and he had hot checks.
A deferred adjudication, which means if he paid back the money, he wouldn't go to jail.
Right.
Okay, and how much money did he have to come up with?
Altogether, it was like $1,900.
So did he come to you and ask you for the money?
Actually, he came to my mom.
What did he say to you, Miss Blum?
He told me that if he didn't have this money by this certain time, that his probation officer, when his probation was off, that they would automatically give him a year. And if he went to jail, then he would go automatically to prison.
You then spoke to your daughter?
Right.
I used my mother's vehicle. It's a '97 Kia Sophia, and got the lease and the amount of money I needed.
And what were the monthly payments on it?
Every week it was $38.72. On March 23rd, 2001, I paid the loan off, which he didn't help me other than maybe, 6, 7 payments of all.
$871 he gave you back.
I had to pay off the loan, which was $1,987.22.
Okay, let's hear from you.
I disagree with everything that was just said, because I'd give my mom money to the fact that if the baby, my sister's baby, needed something, I'd give them some money. Every time I got paid, I'd give them some money.
That's not
true. To help them out.
That's not true, Jess. You know that.
I mean, anytime they needed help, I would help them out. And I mean, it's just been going on like this since I was little. I mean, she's been wanting money. I mean, I had a job.
Let's go back.
Okay.
You faced a term of imprisonment on a deferred adjudication. You had to come up with some money, all at one time. Did you ask your mother for the money?
No, ma'am. It wasn't that much.
Just a second. Okay. Did you discuss with your mother the fact that if you didn't come up with a bulk piece of money, you were going to go to jail?
No, ma'am. I had a job, and it wasn't that much money. For deferred adjudication, I was not going to, it wasn't having to pay a fine.
Is what you're telling me that your sister never gave you a check to give to the court for fines?
No.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
And that was on or about August of 2000?
Yes. I had a job. I was working.
That's not what I asked you.
Okay.
Are you telling me that you never, in August of 2000, needed a bulk sum of money to pay fines and other bad checks? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
What's the name of your probation officer?
Dolores.
What's her phone number?
I have no idea.
Oh, sure you do. You have to call and check in with your probation officer, sir.
I went and seen her once a month. I never had a call and check or nothing.
Does that name sound familiar to you?
Yes, it does.
Do you have the telephone number of the probation officer?
No, I don't. I never got anything like that. He would never give it to me because he didn't want me to talk to her.
Do you have a copy of the check?
No, we just have the copy of the loan.
The agreement, the lease agreement.
And I have, these are checks that I picked up with some of that money for him because he was going to go to jail that day if they weren't paid. And the rest of it I gave it to him to pay his fine.
Well, you certainly made restitution on that date, sir. So that takes care of your argument that you didn't need a bulk of money in August.
I didn't. I had to pay a certain payment before that date.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, why would we get the loan if, I mean, I have my own responsibilities,
What did
more or
you do
less.
with the check that you got for it?
I cashed it and I gave him my mother went and paid off some of his hot checks, which we gave you the paperwork on that.
And the rest of it we gave to him.
How many bad checks did you write?
I wrote, I'd say around 4 or 5.
That's not true.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
I wrote about 4 or 5 hot checks because I had gotten kicked out of their house. So.
What'd you get kicked out for?
Well, she wanted more money from me, and I only had so much money. I was getting.
That's not
I
true,
gave
Jess.
her most
That's
of
not-
my check.
No.
Yes, that is true. Every week when I got paid, I got a certain amount. That's all I would get. I'd give her the rent. I didn't mind paying rent. I don't mind doing that. You know,
Well,
I
how
feel
old are you?
responsible. You know,
How
I'm
old are you?
21. I don't mind paying rent at all. That's part of life. You know. But I mean, you shouldn't work all week for just like $50
When you have
a
that
week
many
when you
bills.
give your whole check to your mom. I mean, that's supposed to be your mom, not your money taker.
That's right.
you
And
know.
it's supposed to be your mom.
Don't talk to him.
Your Honor, I keep a diary because he accused me several times of taking his money. He'd give me money, right. By the end of the week, he would borrow it all back. And he'd say, Mom, why don't I have any money? So I kept a little calendar. And every time he got money from me, I wrote it down. And I made copies for you. You want to see them? Showing since the time we had to get him out of jail the first time, which was like almost $700 that weekend getting him out of jail when he got in trouble, that he never paid back.
You been arrested since, sir?
No, ma'am.
How many times have you been arrested altogether?
I'd say twice.
Yes.
I'd say twice.
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
say.
it wasn't nothing besides traffic tickets. I mean, that's why. I mean, I
And
got.
lying to a judge.
That's why I got. Well, the second time I got thrown in jail for lying to an officer, and the officer came back and put me in jail for that.
Oh, good. And what's next?
And then the other one was for traffic tickets.
And the other one was for bad checks.
No, I never got thrown in jail for bad checks.
No, because Mama helped and paid.
No, because I worked and paid for them.
No,
You got
The
arrested
loan
for
does-
bad. Just a second. You got arrested for bad checks, didn't you?
No, he
I
never
never
got
got
arrested.
arrested for
Never
bad
got
checks.
arrested
No,
for the bad
because I
checks.
paid him off.
No, he came
so
to
I
us
see.
whining about
I
he was
see.
gonna
He
go to
was
jail.
on probation for something else.
Right.
Oh. What? For lying to an officer.
Right.
Yes.
What'd you lie to him about?
I told him a different name because I knew I had a traffic ticket out.
Oh, so, and that wasn't hard to lie to the officer, was it?
No, it wasn't. but it
Good.
was a
Judgment for the
class-
plaintiff in the amount of $1,987. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'd like to see him grow up.
I don't want to have any contact with him. I mean, I don't have a mom anymore. I don't feel.
She shouldn't have had to pay it. It wasn't her loan. It was his.
I'd have.
Team match, let's go.
Marked a location. The blue team has scored for the first time. is in the
Marked a
lead.
location.
Cover me!
Marked a location.
Killing spree for the red team.
Reloading! Cover me! Reloading! Cover me!
The blue team doesn't have a lot of time left.
Be careful! You're losing the game.
Half of the match is over. Red team in the lead. Killing spree for the red team.
Red team victory!